Last time on Square Roots, Elena gets wings, Millennia develops a crush, and Ryude hates God and women. Well, guess what, pal? We don't like you either. And by we, I don't mean us women, I mean us gods. Worship me!
Hey everyone, and welcome to Square Roots, the classic RPG podcast. My name is Jim Banks. I'm joined by Matthew Van Zant.
Hello, Jim. Hello, listeners. Hello, additional secret friends.
John Millennia Brandon.
I wish that I turned into this spiteful demoness every time I got pissed off.
And Vanessa. Speaking of spiteful demonesses.
Hey! Yeah, it's me!
And this is a podcast where we play and talk about your favorite classic RPGs one chunker at a time. And this is episode 2 of Grandia II.
Too cool, am I right?
Are you guys having fun back in Grandia world?
It's all right.
Is it a back kind of situation?
Yeah,
no,
you haven't seen
it's
Puff
totally
Puff?
separate.
If you go into
I don't
the
know,
third
there's
house in
a-
the starting village, you can meet Puff Puff and he joins your party.
Wait, did we even talk about Caro last time?
No, because Kara wasn't in the chunker last time.
Caro wasn't in the...
Who's Caro?
No, you meet Kara.
Oh, you find
after.
Caro at the beginning of this chunker.
Yeah, because it's when Chapel Roan. It's in Chapel
with
Roan's
Chapel
dungeon.
Roan. Yeah, you're right. All right, so before we get into that, there's a whole heap of hot gaming news.
Or as you put in the notes, which I found quite delightful, Christmas for Nintendo adults. That's a good one, Jim.
I guess we should just kick it off with what everyone is most excited about.
$80 video games.
Workplace walkthrough.
$90 video
Paid
games.
games coming soon.
I cannot believe they
There's
are
gotta be more to that
selling
thing.
that.
There has to be actual games in there, right?
That looks like
At first I was like,
trash.
Oh, it's sort of like a less good Astro Lab, that comes with your console
Yeah.
to explain the
Yeah.
new features and things.
It's like an Astrobot that's not cute or fun to play.
yeah, it's just
Buy
a man
that.
walking around looking at signs and being
And
like,
it'll
"Here's
be
the
$90.
Yeah, here's how the magnets work.
You only have to pay $80 if you buy digital, John. And
It's
thank
$80
God the
and then-
Switch 2 has 256 whole gigabytes of space.
Is that how big the storage on the console is?
Yes.
Well, yeah, but that's better than the 32 the first generation of Switch came with.
And you can
or
buy
64
micro
on the OLED.
SD cards for it.
Yeah, that's what I have a 1 terabyte micro SD card on my Switch, and I haven't filled it up yet. So,
same.
get with the program, Matt.
I fill up my Steam Deck all the time. I'm constantly rotating games off my Steam Deck.
Well, why don't you
Alright,
put
we're
a
beating around
micro
the bush
SD card
here.
in it?
We're taking too long to
should.
get to the main topic of the discussion, and that is going to make listeners
Switch
turn
2
their show
deeds.
off. Switch 2 deeds!
Switch 2 news! Switch 2!
Switch 2 IRL.
The
I
Switch 2
am
Nintendo Direct
so excited.
John is
I-
psyched.
earlier this week, and I was just going to try and...
Oh,
Switch
wait, you know what? It's
2
fine,
Nintendo
buddy. You go.
Direct.
You keep going.
Was debuted this week on a Nintendo Direct, and we got all the hot deets. Hot deets like price, release date, 2 games, 2 first-party games.
How do you feel about $630 without a game, Matt?
Well, it's not that. It's $450
Yes, it
without
is.
a game.
I looked at the price, and it's $630.
Canadian.
Yeah. Well, what else would we be talking about?
Okay.
That's a good point. We should go by the dominant global currency, and that is,
Yeah.
of course, the
How mu-
Canadian dollar.
No,
How
that
much
can't.
is-
the
how much is
loonie
this-
cannot be a dominant currency. I refuse
It
to
has
exist.
birds
in the
on
world.
it.
What's
At least
what's
change the name, Call it the
No.
cool
Put a
dollar
word on
or
it.
something. The Cannabuck. I love that. Loony.
What's the Switch 2 to Trump coin exchange rate?
Oh, well, that's a good... Is it before or after he rug pulls?
The real question is
already
what is it
rug-pulled
going to cost after these fucking tariffs kick in? But I guess we'll find that out in June. That's right.
Actually, I did see a quick analysis of that on Reddit. I should share it. It says, should the tariffs actually go into effect, and as of this recording, they've been announced but not put in place.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, this says that a Switch 2 would be over $700 US, including tax. Physical games would be $150. And they also did the same math on the PS5 too, because the next run of PS5s, probably the pre-holiday run, could potentially be tariffed, right? So, assuming that they sell out of existing stock, which they probably will, and have to import more in, the PS5 Pro would be $1,350. The slim model of the PS5 would be roughly $750.
Listen,
Woo.
it sounds like a lot of money, but this is just a normal market correction.
Yeah, this is totally unrelated. I'd like to make an unrelated announcement. We do have a Patreon. It's at patreon.com/SquarePodcast. That's a great bonus content on there.
I'll be honest with you.
We have very affordable tiers.
The price point of $450 I find reasonable enough for what looks like a really good console.
Yeah.
But if it is whatever he just said, $625, boy, that might be too much. And if the game, even like $80 games, that's pushing it. But maybe. But if they're $150 for one single fucking game, then I'll never buy a game. That's just what it is.
Yeah, $450 is kind of at the top end of what I would be willing to pay for a Nintendo product, I think. So if it went any higher than that, I'd probably be a no. John, sorry, didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, you're not I was just waiting my turn.
It's like when people put the quarters on the pool table.
Yeah, exactly. Oh God, now I forgot what I was going to. Oh yes, that would only apply to physical media because digital media is not considered a tariffable import. I don't think, is it? That's a good question.
I believe you can tariff digital sales.
Huh. How would that work with Steam? All these games are coming from different countries, right? Is there going to be a different tariff on each?
It depends, because the tariff, a company could decide we're going to maybe eat part of the. So I work for a company that manufactures things and then sells them to retailers. A lot of the conversations going on right now are, and the company I work for, we don't import very much, but what we're hearing from other brands is that retailers are like, we want you to eat this tariff because we don't want to pass it on to consumers because consumer confidence is already terrible and they don't want to see prices go up, but that's not what's happening.
Well, it depends on what profit margin you were working with in the first place.
Exactly.
Not every company is running on a 70, 80%, 90% profit margin,
Yeah. Every industry is different. But yeah, the brands are, especially brands that are importing, really not willing to eat that cost. Sorry, John. Go ahead.
No, it's okay. Tariffs are not applied to digital goods, so they would be exempt.
Oh.
It's only the physical games that would get those tariffs. I just looked it up. This is according to CNET.
We clearly have a lot of various things to say about all this, so if you don't mind, I'm going to try and blow through the hot deets up top so that we can have said.
John,
okay.
Are you saying that they can't be tariffed or they're not currently tariffed?
Not currently according to CNET.
Okay.
Hey, Matt.
Mm-hmm?
What's the C button do?
The C button stands for chat. So, the Switch 2 was announced. It has a release date of June 5th, 2025. It costs $450 American or $500 with the Mario Kart bundle. Since that game was going to cost $80 otherwise, if you want it, you might as well get that fucking bundle. It has...
Don't ask Matt. He's never found the C button.
I know all about the C button, John. I'm a professional C button pusher.
Oh, wow.
I was hoping to quickly find just a bullet point
HDR 4K 120 on a TV.
I read
Actually,
that they were being kind of cagey about the 4K and HDR.
Didn't feel that way from the
No,
presentation where
it's
they were
all-
like,
so
4K,
HDR.
HDR.
Yeah, it's
But,
got
like,
HDR.
Journalists have tried to follow up on it, be like, sorry, John, I feel like I keep stepping on you.
Oh. HDR is on the console, so it's got a some kind of mini LED screen that can do HDR. It says LCD though, but I thought LCD couldn't do HDR. Anyway, but also the screen is a Switch OLED style 120 hertz VRR display, which no one was expecting. That's awesome. That's a really good screen, except that it's not OLED.
The handheld is 7.9 inches and supports 1080p LCD with HDR10 support. And as Johnny said, with 120 hertz variable refresh rate. The docked version has 4K resolution and up to, I believe, 120 frames per second. It has a 256 gigabyte internal storage, and of course is expandable via micro SDs. As we already know, they redesigned the Joy-Cons, and now they have mouse controls. I actually think that's fucking crazy cool.
Do you have to implant a chip into your mice first, or how will this work?
So the smaller things, the kickstand is improved. It's wider and U-shaped and allows for different viewing angles. The kickstand on the old Switch was garbage. It also has two USB-C ports, one on the top and one on the bottom, which allows for charging it while it is in kickstand mode. Obviously, it has
that's cool.
Built-in microphone and this fancy new C button, which is essentially Nintendo's attempt at finally allowing actual game chat on one of their fucking consoles. Honestly, while I am happy about it, I think it looks neat, and I can see the four of us getting some use out of it, it does feel a little, holy shit, I can't believe it took you this long to get with the times, Nintendo. Mm-hmm.
But there's more. There's also Nintendo Spy Cam.
There is a Nintendo Spy Cam. I read that actually will work with any webcam or some webcam. So you actually don't need to buy Nintendo's special little.
I did see that. Yeah, it is compatible with just your standard USB, USB-C or USB-C webcam.
That's pretty cool. And that will allow you to use that game chat to impose yourself into the chat, into some games. For example, they announced that Mario Party Jamboree is getting an upgraded version, as are several other games. And Mario Party Jamboree will allow you to put yourself in the game. Now, for adults like us, that probably sounds stupid, but I can guarantee you my children will find that fucking delightful. They announced two.
What I don't want is someone seeing my whole body jumping around imposed on the game.
They announced two new first-party games, Mario Kart World. Was that it? Mario Kart World, right?
Yeah.
Which is a new Mario Kart and does feature, mostly looks very Mario Kart-ish, but has some new things like wall riding and grinding, which is interesting. And does feature a semi-open world where you can travel around this big-ass map, which I think is neat. One of the things that I don't particularly care about for racing games is the race, the start and stop of the races. I like the idea of a real long... Anyway. And, of course, I think we already knew about this. I think they had implied and hinted at it before, but a new Donkey Kong Country. Whoa! With a redesigned Donkey Kong that looks like...
I don't think it's a country. I think it's Donkey Kong Goes Bonanzas. Oh, is it World?
You're right. Donkey Kong Bonanza.
Matt called it Red Faction Gorilla in the chat.
Yeah, that's what it made me think of, because it's got a fully destructible environment, which
it's a good
love.
pun.
And finally, probably not finally, there's a lot more, but finally that I'm going to bother bringing up. They are finally bringing GameCube games to Nintendo Live, the Switch Online service, and that includes one of Matt's favorite games ever made. That's right. Wind Waker. Oh, that makes me so happy. Would I have preferred a remastered version? Yes, but I will absolutely take the Wind Waker.
Told
GameCube.
you to buy a Wii U and get it there. It's only $150.
I have a question for John.
Yeah.
John, do you think they'll port over Eternal Darkness, Sanity's Requiem?
Yes.
You think they will?
Well, actually, maybe not. Silicon Knights is no longer around, and all their
But
assets got sold
they own
to
that
Epic.
IP, right?
Epic.
I thought. Oh, Epic bought the assets, but doesn't Nintendo still own the IP?
They'd have to make a deal with Epic because Epic owns it after that court case, right? Also, Epic has, I guess, the programming data for Metal Gear Solid Twin Snake. So if Nintendo could come up with a deal for both of those, that would be awesome. Because Twin Snake's the best version of Metal Gear Solid 1, and I'm not afraid to say it, unlike the rest of you cowards.
Speaking of, they also announced something that we already knew, which is that games will be backwards compatible. It said not all games, but I am looking forward to that. And a lot of Switch games will be getting upgraded editions, which you can either buy the Switch 2 version, or you can pay for just the upgrade, essentially. Or what I heard, though I have not verified it for myself, is that if you have the Nintendo Switch Online package already, it will automatically upgrade those games, which I think would be pretty neat. Yes, Johnny?
Yeah, I got something to say.
Well, Johnny had his hand
Sorry,
raised,
Johnny.
so...
Yeah, Vanessa, you gotta learn to raise your hand like a cool person.
I wasn't looking. Okay.
Okay. So there's a couple of things about the backwards compatibility. Like a lot of games aren't working because it's not a hardware backwards compatibility. It's like half hardware, half software. So it looks like games will have to get a dedicated patch to run backwards. And I'm sure they will. Like people want to keep selling their games.
Haven't we
So that
seen that happening with Xbox games for years now?
No.
I wonder if that will be similar.
Yes, we definitely have.
No, well, it used for when Xbox went from Xbox One to Series X, all the games just worked. Like you didn't have to patch it. You had to patch it to add new graphics and make it work better. But it won't. Like some of them won't work at all.
Whoever that is.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry.
Don't, at least stop talking over it. Like I'm not going to be able to cut that.
It only beeps like 3 times.
3 million times.
Oh, if you don't
Vanessa.
open the door.
Vanessa, go ahead.
Yeah.
Johnny
One thing
clearly
I
wants
like
to eat
about-
his egg bites is going to be my guess.
Yeah. One thing that's nice about Nintendo is that, they do more family-friendly games. It's not like the sort of hardcore, I don't know what you think, like a Bloodborne kind of thing or something. So I assume we're getting a lot of family-friendly launch titles and nothing gory or scary that would be inappropriate for children.
No, Nintendo
Speaking of
definitely
that-
well known for not having any sort of scary, gory games ever.
Speaking of John,
Wait.
if you didn't see the meme I posted in the group chat earlier this afternoon, you should go look at it right now.
Oh, was that?
Did you see it?
Yes. Describe that meme. It was amazing.
It was FromSoft about to kiss It was like 2 people, and one was labeled FromSoft, one was labeled Nintendo. The FromSoft person was about to kiss the Nintendo person, but she was looking over her shoulder back at who you can assume is her boyfriend or husband sitting in a chair, and there's text that says, "Are you sure?" And then the person sitting in the chair, which is labeled Sony, says yes.
Now, what's the name of that style again? There's a name of that style.
It's like, that's not, oh man, I don't know.
Since we're so fucking bad at this, I'll now describe what Jim was talking about after he described the meme, which is that there was a console exclusive From Software game announced for the Switch called the Dusk Bloods. Whoa.
But that's insane. That's a crazy thing to do. That's bananas.
Bonanza.
So-
I'm sure I'll get proven wrong, but it looked like it was made from spare parts from every other Soulsborne game.
Yeah, it really does. Isn't it more multiplayer focused? It's not as
It is. It's 8-player and it's PvP VE. So PvP PvE.
That sounds terrible to me personally. That's okay though.
So
there were some
now that
interesting launch titles
Cyberpunk
announced.
Cyberpunk is
ahead.
coming. I think for launch, and will this mean that it's going to be the first? This is what I'm getting to.
It's been coming
Is this
for
going to be
years.
the first game on a Nintendo console with finger stuff?
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's definitely going to be the first game on a Nintendo console with full fucking dong.
It would be
Is it,
cool.
though? I
It would be
do
cool
wonder.
if they. It would be cool if they replaced Mario or Johnny Silverhand with Mario, like a 3D
That
HD
actually would be
Mario.
amazing. Some launch titles that are expected, obviously Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom 2, Switch 2 editions, Mario Kart World, a new Rune Factory, Sid Meier's Civilization 7, which will have mouse support for that funky Joy-Con mouse. I think that's neat, and I would like to see the Switch become kind of a cool mouse game console. You know, like...
Where are you supposed to use this mouse when you're out
It's
and
not
about?
a mouse. It's not a mouse. Stop saying it is. It's just the Joy-Con stuck on its little edge, sliding around.
Okay.
Does it need to be on a hard surface?
I guess.
It probably is IR, so, like, I bet you can use it on your couch arm, you know?
Do you use it on your big fat thigh? That's what I was thinking.
Yeah. Pokemon Legends
It's
Z
so
through A,
little,
Metroid
though.
Prime
Who
4
wants to
Beyond,
slide that around like a mouse?
a new Kirby and the Forgotten Lands, or maybe that's a remaster. I don't know. Cyberpunk, Elden Ring, Street Fighter 6, Final Fantasy 7 Remake, which is weird to me because they're already on the second one of those.
That Steam Deck version of Final Fantasy VII Remake was really good.
Oh,
So
yeah.
Was it?
Yeah, and I think this is a little bit more powerful from what I've seen than a Steam Deck, or at least has NVIDIA's like performance.
It has a better
in
processor.
VRR
Yeah.
and stuff.
Yeah.
So what do you guys think about this Switch 2 announcement and all of the features? And are there any features in particular that interest you? Jim?
I think it looks interesting. I like the specs on it for sure. I'm not the biggest Nintendo guy, but I think it's cool, especially like if them getting their own dedicated FromSoft game is an indication that they might be putting out some more like adult-oriented content, maybe some more like horror stuff. I think that's a step in the right direction, at least when it comes to like getting me more excited about Nintendo stuff. So it would be cool. Like I would play my Switch a lot more if it had better games on it. Better games for me.
Yeah,
It's got
listen,
Alan
I'm not
Wake.
a hardware.
I saw
not a
your video on that.
hardware
I know how
Harry.
terrible it is.
I'm not a hardware Harry. I'm a software Sally. I really don't tend to buy things just for the hardware because then it just sits there. What are you going to do with it if there's no good games to play on it? And right now, the Switch 2 is not looking like a day one purchase for me.
What would it take to move it up into Vanessa's inline day one?
Animal Crossing 2.
That's what I thought.
I mean, I know there already is an Animal Crossing 2, but a new Animal Crossing.
Yeah. Oh, imagine an Animal Crossing using that like video feature where you can hang out in your friends' towns and you can like talk to each other.
Oh, that would be fun.
Yeah. Wow, what a miss.
We used to do that a little bit with like if you had the Nintendo app on your phone, you could do like voice chat
Oh.
while you were in people's towns, but
That's so
Yes.
stupid. It's not native on the Switch. That is so dumb.
it would be really cool to have like a proper real party.
I am
there-
not. Oh,
Oh, I was gonna ask you, Johnny, were you excited for the other big announcement? I feel like this announcement kind of got overshadowed by the rest of Nintendo stuff, but they finally announced a release window, I think, for Silksong.
I never played the first one.
Oh, I thought you did play Hollow Knight.
Johnny,
That seems like a game that you would like.
I played Hollow Knight and it was okay. No, it was really good, but I'm not crazy about Silksong. Johnny, answer the main question though.
I
Oh yeah.
am excited. I think that as someone who is hopefully making a small business out of reviewing Switch games, I feel like I need to get a Switch 2. But I also need to get a tax code because YouTube's asking me, since I'm advertising on it, to get a tax code, and also I need it before I can make money. So I guess I can expense a Switch 2. Which is cool, so I'm going to do that. But I also haven't made any money yet, so I won't actually get my money back. But
John, you
gotta
might be
spend
able to
money.
At the end of
get.
the year.
You should apply to the the PR lists for Nintendo. You might be able, and like say that you review Switch hardware and software stuff. They might kick you over maybe like a rebate or a gift card or even a console. Just try that.
How do I do that?
Are there any features you're excited about for that? Switch
I think
2?
that I hope the GameCube emulation is better than the N64 emulation, which was notoriously bad on Switch, even after being perfect. It was a different group that did the emulator on Wii. The Wii emulator for N64 is really good, which is weird that the Switch one is bad. So I am excited for that, though. Like, GameCube games coming back, I think it's the biggest thing for me. I love HDR. As a colorist, I find it just really improves games. Like, I love looking at it. Like, playing Final Fantasy VII Remake on the Steam Deck with that bright HDR going off, especially in Midgar, looks amazing. So yeah, I'm excited about that. I think that the games, I don't think there's any games announced that really were for Johnny. I'm not a big Mario Kart guy.
I didn't bring up one that I forgot. There was one that I forgot to mention, and I wonder if it'll change your tune. Bravely Default Remastered.
Oh, you're right. Why isn't that a Switch 1 game? That seems like it could run fine on the Switch 1.
Actually, like Flying Fairy. Is that what it is? Other than maybe it's going to come out.
After we recorded last week, there was a Switch 1 Direct. And it did have a couple of neat things, like a new Rhythm Heaven, which sounded great. And obviously, Metroid Prime 4 looks fantastic. Although,
Sure does.
Never finished any Metroid Prime games. I really want to. Maybe I'll just play it for the show. There's the story.
I played Metroid Prime 1, not recently, maybe like a year ago now, when it first came out. And I was reminded how fucking great that game is. Just a quick aside that Bravely Default Flying Fairy HD is the name of the remaster. It is coming to the Nintendo Switch 2, and it is a launch day game.
I want that. I think we should play that for the show. Although, is it going to be $90? We can't afford that.
I agree. It's Square, so if we don't play at launch day, it'll probably be half price within 6 months. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's more of a maybe not play the day it comes out, but I think we could get to that at some point.
Mm-hmm. It's Suikoden 2.
I agree that I have played Bravely Default, and that game is fun as hell, though I did not finish it because of the notoriously kind of crazy ending, but we'll talk about that someday.
Yeah, do you have to is it like you have to replay the whole game over and over, or is it like a truncated version?
I don't know, because I was
like, I'm not
replaying this fucking game. Just fucking finished it.
Nier makes it look like you have to replay the whole game 3 times, but it's different every time. Especially the third time's just part 2.
It's way different. The whole game.
Yeah.
I don't know, and that's something worth finding out, but I would love to play it as well, because it is a very fun game. All right, well, as for Matthew, that's me. I'm excited about it. I mean, I guess I am a quote-unquote Christmas adult, Nintendo adult. I do. I'm not a Christmas adult. I do love Nintendo and Nintendo products. Typically, Mario games are fun and Zelda games are fun. I've rarely played a bad one. And they also have tons of other great games that come to these consoles that I tend to love, like Metroid Prime. I have really enjoyed the Switch. I think it's been a great console, and it has been Nintendo's longest running console before a refresh. Or maybe refresh isn't the right word, but before a new generation. So I think it's reasonable. I think the price point is reasonable. And I'm really looking forward to it. Will I buy it day one? Probably not, but that's more of a monetary thing, unless our Patreon suddenly starts making a lot more money. I don't know that this is smacking between my kids' birthdays, so that's not great for me. But I'll definitely be buying it, hopefully this year, and I am really excited. I think the mouse thing is neat. I'm not a big Civilization fan, so that doesn't really get me, but I can see a lot of these companies porting some of these old games, you know? Like, you could really play like a Warcraft or a fucking Command and Conquer, that type of thing on your home console, like, and not have it be, you know, I did that Age of Empires 2 remaster that came out on the Xbox. I played that with my friend Paul a bit, and while it was serviceable with the Xbox controller, it wasn't great. And the whole time, all you really are thinking is, boy, I wish I had a mouse in my hand. So, and they announced some things like Metroid Prime. You can use Metroid Prime 4. You can use that mouse, which really changes, how you can play first-person shooters on the console. I think the game chat thing is neat. I'm not fucking champing at the bit over it, but yeah, it's about fucking time. And I'm fucking excited. Let's go. And as Jim said, they did, I swear to God, it was almost like a joke. Silk Song, people are just dying for any information, and just smack dab in the middle of a bunch of trailers for random games coming to the Switch 2, it did say Silk Song 2025. I really wonder what the Silk Song centric areas of the internet were like that yesterday or whenever that was.
Yeah, I saw memes like leading up to the Nintendo Direct where it was like every time they thought there was going to be a Silk Song announcement in a Nintendo Direct, it had them all listed, but had them all crossed out, and then it said like the one on April 2nd or whatever.
Yeah,
I thought that was funny.
Luke Skywalker has joined the chat. Are you going to try and hit the little laser beams from the ball, or what's going on, Vanessa?
Yeah, I got these self-heating eye mask things. They're supposed to...
And you decided
I thought it was a VR helmet.
Right now.
You look like Jim when he's playing his VR machine.
No,
it's a
she looks
little
like
eye mask.
2B. We're talking Nier, and she decided to cosplay as 2B from Nier.
It's like, I don't know how it works, but there's something in it that heats itself up when you pull its little activating tab, and
it's
then
radiation.
you stick it over your eyes. Yep, it's radiation. And, it's just supposed to help relax your eyes a little bit. It says on the package to listen to your favorite podcast while you do it, so I figured this is my favorite podcast. I might as well just pop it on my eyes while we do our show.
Weird.
Question
Vanessa's
is,
wearing that
I'll tell
lollygoth
you,
dress.
I will say, Vanessa, it's barely noticeable. Like, if John hadn't pointed it out, I don't think I would have seen it.
Well, good. I'm glad it's subtle, and I'm glad I was able to pull off sticking this eye mask on without you guys noticing. And we'll just see. It's supposed to stay on for like half an hour, so we'll see if I stay awake here while I'm enjoying my heating, relaxing eye mask.
Did we get through all of the Nintendo talk?
I think so.
Well, does that mean it's time for the quest log?
I think
You know what?
so.
Jim,
Did we miss any part of the Nintendo announcement? I feel like we missed
nothing
something.
important.
Okay. Wait, when does it come out?
June 5th.
Oh,
I said
June 5th. Yeah, I guess that is
I
important.
said that
And
several
pre-orders are April 9th.
Oh, pretty soon.
And Workplace Walkthrough is a launch day title, so you'll be able to
Oh, thank God.
play that right away.
I guess I'll have to spend the $90 on that cart, because
My
will I even know
jaw
how to
was
use
on the
it?
floor when they said it was going to be a paid game.
That
And to be clear, for those of you who
balls
didn't
on
see
that.
it, it's just a little guy walking around like a environment that's like the inside of the Switch, reading signs about the features of the Switch.
have they gone like
We'll
Sony
see.
with
It
the
looked like there was maybe
PS3?
more.
At least they didn't say that you had to get a second job in order to enjoy the PS or to the Switch 2 like the Sony did with the PS3.
Did it?
Yeah.
Okay, that's weird.
Like, to what? To pay for it?
Yeah, because wasn't it like $5.99 or something when it came out, the PS3?
Oh, is that how expensive it was?
It was really expensive.
Wow.
Well, I'm glad they learned their lesson with their $700 PlayStation 5. So,
Yeah, but now we all have our second job to pay for it. Thanks,
It's true.
Patreon.
before we get into the quest log, we have a couple of plugs we need to do. Did you know we have a Square Roots YouTube channel? Holy shit.
What?
We are there live every Wednesday streaming the hottest new games like Journeyman Project 3, Kingdom Hearts 2, and Illusion of Gaia. Whoa. Joined Jim, Johnny, Vanessa, and I, or at least some combination of those people, as we play through basically whatever the fuck we want. We also are doing a bit of random streams. Jim and I are currently playing Harvester on the weekends. It's terrible. I don't know what I was thinking.
It's worse than I remember.
Yeah, it's bad.
It's
I thought you
awful
loved
every
that
time,
game.
and yet you keep playing it. Jim has started it on stream like 5 times at this point.
I bullied him
I
into
started
it.
it twice.
I
made me
wish
do
we
it
were
again.
playing Phantasmagoria too. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, come check out the Square Roots YouTube channel and check out our fun streams. It's a good time, and join in the chat if you want to catch. If you can catch it live, it's a lot of fun. Next up, after Vanessa finishes Journeyman Project 3, which was going to be a 2-week stream and is now turning into an 8-month stream, Johnny will be playing a game called Scooter, which I think is about extreme scooting. Is that right?
It's Snatcher, about extreme snatching. And it's the Hideo
getting
Kojima
snatched.
game you've never heard of. Okay, I know all our listeners have heard of it, but
I had never heard of it until you brought it up.
I'm just talking like a YouTube channel where it's like a semi-obscure game. They're like, the one you've never played.
You'll never guess the name of this game.
This is neither here nor there, but has anybody else noticed that the new trend in website headlines is like such and such is going to have a great day on, Thursday, or like blah blah
No, I
is going to have
haven't
a
heard that.
terrible day on blah. Like Superman fans are going to have a great day on July 11th or whenever that fucking Superman movie comes out. But then it doesn't say why. You have to go into the article and be like, because the movie's coming out. Yeah, like no shit.
It must be like an SEO thing that people will click on that right now.
But I'm seeing it
until
on, yeah,
it
for
gets
sure. I'm
saturated.
seeing it
Well,
on like
there's
Polygon
probably-
and Game Rant and like regular ass websites, not like.
There are probably like 15 versions of that headline that an AI thing wrote, and it's constantly serving them to different people to see which iteration is going to be the best in terms of click-through rate.
Huh.
What I've been getting fed recently is clips of the Showtime show The Tutors, which I've never watched and never been
Tutors.
interested in watching. But I'm pretty sure that I'm going to be able to see the whole show because I keep getting like 30-second little reels of things that are, I guess it's over now, so things that went on in that show. I don't
that
know
the one
why
with
that's
Jonathan
why the algorithm
Rhys-Meyers?
thinks I want. Yep.
Yeah, where he farts a
Oh,
lot.
yeah.
He's got like a gas problem.
The
Does he?
tutors.
Johnny, you have a stream that you'd like to plug as well.
Yeah, it's not a stream though. It's a channel,
yeah.
a YouTube
channel.
channel.
YouTube
I don't stream
channel.
on it. I have never streamed on it. I never will, because I get
Oh,
too
wow.
angry at games when I'm streaming. I have undiagnosed rage issues. But I do like making video essays, and right now I'm just got a couple of maybe 1,000 or 2,000 words left to write on this YouTube essay, and then I'm gonna start voice recording, and I'm gonna start editing it, guys. Yeah, it's gonna be exciting. I'm talking about Saints Row 2022, which people on YouTube say is the terrible, but I'm gonna spoil things and say I think it's my favorite open world drivey shooty crime game that I've played so far. That's my hot take. It's great. It has queer characters. It's not broy. There's no making fun of sex workers. It's wild. All the stuff you expect in those games basically doesn't happen. So yeah, check out that coming in the next few weeks. Work's kind of rough right now, so it might take a little while.
All right, and with that, it's time for the quest log.
The
Jim.
Q log.
Remind us what happened last week on Grandia 2.
So last time, the Geohound Ryude was tasked with protecting this songstress named Elena, while she went and participated in a sealing ritual for the demon god Valmar. But oh no, the ritual failed, and she got possessed by what looked like a pair of wings, and all of the other priestesses died. So now the main priest guy, which I think is the father of one of the priestesses who died, I think that's what happened, right?
Yes.
He's like, you need to go talk to the Pope. So we are on our way to go see the Pope.
Pope Innocente.
Pope Gordon Ramsay.
So where we left off last time, our arrival in Agir Town, we go to the inn, and this is kind of like Ryudo's turf, his like stomping ground. He knows the innkeeper guy, and they're talking about like his job with Elena, and you hear a ruckus in the background, and there's like a little boy begging this mercenary gang to help him recover his lost medal that he got from his mom.
I didn't really understand the relationship between this little boy and this gang. At
I
first, it
didn't
seemed like
either.
he was like begging them, but then I thought maybe he's a member.
Well, what I had gotten, because like when this scene started, I was like, oh, he's just like a little beggar kid trying to get help finding his medal. But then they keep referencing like past events where they were with each other.
Mhm.
Like they do it 2 or 3 times. So I was like, maybe he traveled with them for a little bit, and then they thought he was sucked, and then they kicked him out.
Well, I think his mom died, and then he had nowhere to go, so he just like joined the circus because he thought he might be able to find his medal. I don't really understand how he lost that medal.
Do you think these guys are circus folk?
Yeah, they say it many times. Well, they do say it many times, but I don't know if that was just Ryudo being a jackass or what.
I thought they were like jobber guys like Ryudo. They were other geohounds.
What would their circus acts be?
Oh.
Because one guy is just like an idiot with a giant fork on his back.
Okay, the
that's called
lady
a
says
clown.
knife throwing. The lady mentions that she's a knife thrower, that she might accidentally screw up her act because she's mad at her husband.
Oh,
Yeah, I think Johnny's right. I think that they're circus folk. I think that he's been living with the circus folk. I think that he has recently lost the medal. It's not like it happened a year ago and he's been hanging out with the circus.
I think
it's
like happened like an
here.
hour ago.
The medal is here in the cave by the town.
Oh man, I want to see their circus show now. I want to see fork guys act.
Well, you know
Maybe
what?
he's like the amazing eating man who eats a whole bunch of stuff.
Hopefully there's a circus scene in this game. Only time will tell.
Dude. Yeah, that can't be. They have portraits for each of those people. That can't be the last time you see them.
Yeah.
Maybe it is.
So what is this
I don't
boy's
know.
name?
His name is I've been
Chapel Roan.
pronouncing it in my head as Roan. Yeah. Chapel
He's
Roan.
Hottogo.
He
This
loves
kid's a real,
dancing
like,
at the
Ken.
Pink Pony Club.
Yeah. He's a real
Good
Ken.
luck, babe.
He's a real, like, what other games have we played with little boys in them?
What was that one game? Tales
Final Fantasy
of
IX has
Vesperia?
that Zidane guy.
That's Aiko. Well, I was gonna say Aiko from Final Fantasy IX, but that's a little girl.
Yeah, remember there's that boy in Vesperia, right? Like the annoying boy.
There's the little pirate girl in
Yeah, there's a
Vesperia.
little pirate girl.
And
He's a
there's
real-
an
he's a
annoying
real,
like scout boy.
Yeah. And then there's Chansley. Is that his name? Chauncey?
Oh,
Chandler?
from Rebirth and Remake. That's
Yeah.
He's not a party
Oh,
member
yeah.
though. He's just
But
an
he's a
annoying
robot.
quest giver
Chadley.
that talks too
That's-
much.
That's Chadley.
Chadley.
Is Chadley? Was he originally human and was modified to be a cyborg, or is he like all robot?
No, I think he's all robot.
Okay.
He's like
Remember how they
he's
took classic
He's
JRPG
I think the
of all
most
time,
accurate-
Final Fantasy VII, and they were like, let's add a little robot boy that gives you quests and talks constantly. That'll
I
improve
was gonna
this.
say, John, the most accurate real life analog to Chadley would be Optimus, the Tesla robot that only operates by remote control.
I don't-
The
does
Tesla
anybody
robot
else
thing
know
is
what he's
funny.
talking about?
I
You guys
do.
know the Tesla
Yeah.
robot?
Yes. They said, like, oh, we finally have, like, androids, and...
Yeah, like Tesla, like Elon Musk threw a party because he needed to like keep his stock afloat with this robot thing.
Wasn't
and
it
so
a guy
he's
in the
like-
suit
and he's
at the
like-
party?
Well, no, this is a different one. This one was just a few months ago, and like he threw this party, and people were like, "Oh my gosh, there's robot bartenders!" But they were robots, but they were being operated by remote. From
So
people
it's
in
just
another
like
room.
those. Remember those Tomy robots from the 80s that you could put like little drinks in and they
Yeah,
could serve you?
exactly.
Yeah, or like
Yes.
those things at Disneyland that come out and like talk to
Yeah.
the crowd and things.
It's like the robots that deliver your food at Chinese restaurants. Have you guys been to a robot
Yes,
restaurant?
they're amazing.
They are amazing.
Vanessa, you were thinking of performers in costumes. That's not actually a robot Mickey Mouse that comes out and talks to you.
No, they have robots. They have like a trash can that rolls around, and they
Oh,
got
R2D2.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, sorry. That was a weird. How do we even get there? We're talking about Chadley. We were talking about Roan. Okay, back on track. I
Roan.
retraced our steps.
He's a little
Yeah,
boy and
Roan,
he wants his
fancy
medal.
boy.
Yeah, Ryudo's really mean to him too. He's like, "Fuck you, go back to Lollipop Lane, you little dork."
I fucking hate
Yeah.
Ryudo, and that has been. You know, Jim's like, "Oh, it's really bad later." Ryudo, they stopped writing dialogue for Ryudo. I'm like, "Good. I want to get to that point." Like every time he talks, it's just sassy, shitty '90s insult comic bullshit. I hate him. I don't think I've hated a JRPG character as much as this fucking asshole. He always has everything has to have a sassy comment back, and he's just got this shitty point of view. I don't want to hear him talk.
He is so sassy.
Oh, I hate him so much.
Feels like Johnny has some unresolved issues with somebody probably on this podcast, you know, that now he's projecting onto Ryudo. I'm sorry I'm so sassy, Johnny. Jesus.
You know what? You don't like if I say something, you're not like, you know, if like, oh, Matt, I'm gonna fix my Xboxes. Oh, that's a good use of time working on a 25-year-old console that no one cares about.
And then I would call you a slur if I was Ryudo.
Yeah.
Do you think they call him Ryudo because he's Ryude to people?
Oh.
Cut that, Downtown Brown.
No,
No.
I won't
No.
cut that at all.
Can we veto Downtown Browns, Matt?
Oh,
Absolutely. If you, I mean, as long as you're editing, you can veto whatever you want.
You know what? If there's a veto for Downtown Browns, I'm gonna use that aggressively when you guys say stuff that you actually want Downtown Browns.
I don't consent
I'm
to
gonna
the
veto
veto
that from the
system.
editing chair, my friend.
But you have to, if you do, you have to insert yourself saying vetoed.
That would be so funny.
All right. So Ryudo is crying about his lost medal. And who comes to his rescue? Jim.
Sorry, what was the
Jim?
question? Oh, Jim showed up? Whoa.
Yeah,
Wait,
Jim
Sen-
Banks. He was
Senator
like, I'm
Jim
glad you
Banks."
lost your job. You're a piece of shit.
What? Oh, I heard he was in the news. What did he do?
No, we're not doing this. Ryudo is
Okay.
like, wow, this kid's a piece of shit. But Elena is like, Ryudo, why won't you help him? Anyway, later that night, Ryudo changes his mind and leaves to go help the kid. Whoa, Jim, I'm doing your job. Take over.
Yeah, so Ryudo he's feeling a little bit guilty. I think even Sky makes fun of him about it. So he's like, I better go help this kid. And he runs into who else but Millennia. Hot Millennia. Are you guys
Millennia
pronouncing it
comes into
Millennia?
his room to like sexually assault him. She appears in his room and she paralyzes him, and she's
Oh,
like,
that's right.
"This time you're not gonna get away from me, and I'm gonna have my way with you."
I mean,
Wow.
cool.
Problem. Let's cancel Millennia
And
right
then,
now.
and then she takes off her sweater and she's wearing a full set of lingerie underneath. And you take off your flannel shirt to show your your light wash jeans. I'm just quoting Harvester.
Anyway, Millennia wants to bang Ryude, which nobody understands that motivation, but we do understand wanting to bang Millennia.
Right, of course. Right, Vanessa? We all understand.
I understand in theory human sexuality, but I'm not going to get into the minutiae of it.
All I'm trying to say is that she, just judging from the little time we spent with her, she seems like she has a really nice personality.
Mm-hmm. Visible panties through her gauzy skirt.
She seems, I think she's smart. I think she's sweet. I think that she's nice. And those are the only reasons I'm attracted to her.
At least there's no one I'm going to get weird about on this episode, right? Oh boy. So, yeah, so she's like genuinely seems about to assault you with her magic. Although she's not going to kill you, right? Like, is it a sex threat? Is that what's happening?
Yes.
I thought it was going to be a violence threat.
She's a demon.
Has hearts that appear on her dialogue.
She does have hearts.
Oh, that's true. Anyway, so one of the circus guys comes in and is like, "Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt." And she's like, "Oh, more men for mommy."
Almost did a spit take. Almost spit my drink all over my laptop.
So the circus man's like, "Hey, Chapel Roan is HOTTOTGO, which means that he has gone to the lair of the Minotaur that's been just causing problems. He's been like ransacking this town.
He's a real pesky Minotaur.
He's a pest. Yeah. He stole the medal, I guess, from Boy, and you know what? I think that we need to give Minotaurs a break. You know, let them.
Yeah, he's a real rascal. This Minotaur.
Yeah, he seems all right. Actually, he's too lizardy for me.
The cave. He is lizardy, which is weird for a Minotaur.
Yeah.
Because they're both.
Not every Minotaur has to conform to your expectations, Jim.
Well, if it's like a goat, it wouldn't be a Minotaur anymore.
It's true. That's confusing, but basically Millennia bullies or I guess shames the masculinity of Ryude. Is like, well, I'm gonna save this boy. Mm-hmm. I love saving boys. And what are you, like some kind of cuck? And Ryude's like, I'm not a cuck. I can do this. That's what happens, right?
Pretty much. And so we head to Durham Cave to rescue the boy with Millennia in the party. That's fun.
This is a fun little dungeon.
When we get there, we run into Roan, and he gets to motorboat dem titties.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He does. I'm sorry that I had to say it, but that's what happened.
I have
the
a
look on
still of
Vanessa's
it.
face was one of pure disgust.
That is not what happens. She just gives the boy, I would say, an inappropriate hug for a tween. Like, if you're chesty like a Vanessa or a Millennia,
but if you look at the cutscene, you can see his head turning left and right.
I think he's struggling. I don't think that's supposed to be motor boating as you describe it.
Well, I think that it is. So you have your interpretation,
Vanessa,
I have mine.
You have large breasts. How would you describe this scene?
I do.
Now I'm
have
uncomfortable.
Friends. Okay. Never mind.
Vanessa, do you often let little boys motorboat? You know what? I apologize. I went too far.
I will say that as a
what do you mean? How often is often, Matt?
As a relatively tall woman, it does not take that much for me to, have a friend who, when I hug them, might be chest height. And it's happened.
You're like, oops. Mm-hmm. Vanessa, do we need to downtown Brown my comment if it was inappropriate?
No, I want everyone to know.
Okay, good. It'll help the Patreon.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I know. Vanessa's
Put it
gonna
in
see
your
like
Vanessa
her
notebook page.
Vanessa's
1.
gonna see her Google alert she set up for Vanessa just start going crazy. So now Roan's in our party. He's a little knife boy.
He's a little knife boy with a fucking knife, and he cuts things. He's so
actually
sweet and
pretty
innocent,
good.
and then he takes his knife out and will stab a motherfucker.
He's actually pretty good. He
multiple knives.
Yeah, he's actually pretty good. Like you would think that he wouldn't. He like when he first got in the party, I was like, oh, he's gonna have worse stats than Elena when it comes to like attacking. But no, it's pretty good. He's got a pretty good physical attack stat.
He may be a child, but he's a boy child.
Yeah, he knows how to cut.
He also comes with his own egg.
Yeah, he has his own mana egg.
Holy egg.
Pretty cool. What's the one that you already had on you from Elena? I don't remember. I thought she had the holy egg and Roan had.
She has the holy egg. Yeah.
Oh, what's Roan have?
And then we get like a elemental egg or something.
Chaos.
And
Yeah.
No, Chaos is
Chaos
the one
egg.
you get off Millennia.
Oh. Anyway, there's another egg. We can learn some more spells. Mist egg. I think it is mist. Mist egg. So we have some more spells now, which is fun. Are you guys like this game really wants you to use the buffs and debuffs liberally? Are you guys playing like that?
What makes you say it wants?
Been.
What makes you say it wants us to do that?
Because there's like way more buff and debuff spells than there are attack spells.
I just unlocked Beefy Boy's Lion Roar, which does a attack buff on everyone.
It's like +2 attack on that, isn't it?
Well, it depends on how much points you ability points you've assigned to it. So right away it's just one.
Oh,
so
how many?
Yeah, you have to level that thing up. Yeah.
I don't think I've ever fully leveled that. I'm gonna have to check that out.
You should be leveling up the attack you use all the time, like Tetsujin Blade and Hammer Toss and Impact Bomb.
Yeah, I think I mentioned this on the last episode, but the game is very like if you're taking one thing with this game, you should always be slaughtering everything in the dungeons. Like if you do that, you will always be at the appropriate level. You will always have enough points to level up your skills and your magic. Like just do it. It doesn't take very long, and the game is very generous with its upgrade points, and it makes the game a lot more fun to play. One
thing in the game's favor is it's some JRPGs like annoyingly need arrow commands to just get through just attacking enemies. You can button mash your way through fights in this game so fast,
and it's great. Yeah, works great.
Okay, Johnny, what's that?
Well, this is orange juice from concentrate mixed with creatine.
Okay. I was afraid it was either
by recording with my creatine and protein, John.
I was worried that it was either raw eggs or potentially waffle batter.
No, I've gone off waffles. We'll talk about that more when we level up.
Maybe you found a new way to consume waffles. Put them in a mason jar, drink it down. All right, so
waffles in this economy.
Yeah, the attack stuff is good. You do get a book at the end of this dungeon, which I did level up. I spent a lot of points on leveling up my book.
You should always, this is another thing, you should always level up those books as soon as you possibly can, because they can, the book that you get from beating the Minotaur has a strength buff on it that you can equip to people, and it can give them plus 50 attack. Like Ryude, I have it on Ryude, and he is just, and I have an accessory on him that gives him a third attack on his regular attack instead of just 2. And he is
you are 2/3 of the way through the game, though, so.
He is slaughtering. But, if you would assign stuff like that to, Ryudo or Merrig, you will have a good time. It's good stuff.
So, Durham Caves. Let's talk about it, Jim.
Yeah, so I thought, can we talk about Caro for a second? Caro's one of the first things you encounter in the dungeon. And Caro is a squirrel that we're told really likes to forage for these things called poff nuts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I don't know what to do with that information.
You can give it.
You're
the
supposed
poff
to
nuts
give
you
the
find.
poff nuts to Caro.
Will it show up
There's
in
at least
other
two
areas? 'Cause I
poff
haven't seen it
nuts
since
in
then.
that dungeon.
I think it shows up in maybe one or two other areas. Do you know the purpose of Caro?
No.
Why would
Have
we
you
know that,
ever
Jim?
given? Because you can give Caro 3 nuts here.
I only
If you
had found
give
2.
Caro 3,
Yeah, I mean,
You
this
give-
is some
if-
real, like, Jim has played too far into the game and is not going to tell us
no,
about
no, no,
things
no,
that are
no.
going to happen
This is
way
no,
later.
I'm not. I promise you, I'm not.
Yeah, you are.
This is actually a funny game tidbit. Caro serves no practical purpose. There is no purpose to Caro. Caro was something that they like halfway put in the game and then forgot about. Caro is supposed to, if you give Caro 3 poff nuts, its tail lights up and it jumps on your back, and that's supposed to light your way through dark caves that you wouldn't normally be able to see in. There are none of those in this game.
Yeah, I was wondering what that light mechanic was in the last dungeon, because it's like, well, you
Yeah.
can see fine without it, but
Yeah,
just
yeah.
saw
None of
that-
the dungeons are so dark that you would need a light. But yeah, there's no practical purpose to Caro. Don't worry if you don't do anything with these poff nuts. It does not matter at all. In fact, you will not long. I think maybe after this chunker, I would be surprised if you ever find a poff nut again, and you might see Caro 1, maybe 2 more times, and that's it. The game just kind of forgot about it. Don't worry about it at all.
I'm going to worry about Caro because, it's a wild animal. It's wandering around these dangerous dungeons.
He seems fine, though. So this dungeon also has some little, like, I guess you could call them traversal puzzles. Some extending of bridges, some knocking over of rocks to create a little slope for you to walk up and down.
Yeah,
That was fun.
it was a little bit confusing, but not too much, so I valued that. They put some effort into it. You have to switch switches and loop around and do things.
Yeah, and if you want to get all the treasure, you have to create some loops and some bridges and open up some shortcuts. There's some treasure in there.
I also like that there doesn't seem to be infinitely spawning enemies. Maybe I'm wrong,
I love
but
that.
Yeah,
You
I
are
think that
correct.
once you sort of clear out an area, it's cleared out.
yeah, that's really satisfying. Like, I want to. More games
It
should do that, because
is.
I just want to find more enemies, just to be like, I want to get
Me
every single
too.
one.
Mhm.
It's
You're like,
really
I gained
good.
2 levels since I got in here. I can mash my way through this, and it's going to be really satisfying. But also, like, I feel like the number of enemies that they have and the experience that they give you, I feel like you can use your spells too more often than not, and you're not going to worry about running out of MP.
Mhm.
Like, if you're relatively like, don't use them every turn for every round, but like, if you use them semi-frequently, the game doesn't punish you by taking away all your MP. Same with your skills. So you can still use that stuff liberally if that's how you want to play.
And there seems to be recovery places before most boss fights so far.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
save
there's
points
usually-
are recovery spots as well, which is good stuff.
Yeah, there's usually one at the beginning of every dungeon and one, like, usually at the end of the second dungeon screen or right before a boss, which is pretty helpful.
All right, so we fight the boss of this area. As we mentioned, it's a Minotaur. Whoa.
And he's flanked by 2 little guys. He's got 2 little guys with him.
He does. 2 little lizard men.
Right? 2 little lizard men.
2 little fellers.
This boss was super easy.
Yep.
Are you guys have you guys had trouble with any of the bosses in the game so far?
Nope.
No.
No. Well, Matt
Oh.
did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a certain kind of trouble. That's true.
So we defeat the Minotaur and we get our medal back, and that's the end of the game. That's
All
it
right.
for
Well, we
this
saved
episode of
Roan, and
Square
I
Roots.
assume that we're gonna go live happily ever after with Millennia. And next
Yeah,
time,
Millennia is Roan's mom now.
we'll be playing Assassin's Creed Shadows.
Oh, wow.
What a twist.
Yeah. No, we go back to a Gear Town. Millennia mentions offhand that she is the wings of Valmar, which sounds it's pretty insignificant, really. I don't. Think
I
that has
mean,
any
we've
bearing on
already
the plot
had
at all.
what the Wings of Valmar are described to us, and on top of that, we've already seen that Elena has the Wings of Valmar. So how is Millennia the Wings of Valmar? This doesn't make sense.
Well, we find out right now when we see Millennia morph into Elena.
What?
Was anybody shocked by this at all?
Vanessa sent me.
John was.
Vanessa sent me a chat. Vanessa sent me a chat on Google that was like, I have a theory about the Millennia Elena relationship, and Elena is just Millennia right now. It's like, yeah.
I guess I was trusting of the game. I didn't suspect this at all. I was amazed and delighted by Millennia turning out to be Elena. I should have seen it coming. They basically do the exact same thing in Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Spoiler. So I should have seen this coming.
And also in, what was that one we played recently where the pirate was the ninja and you didn't see that coming?
Oh
yeah.
Captain Cliche.
Yeah.
I'm not good at noticing one character is actually another character. I
It's
think
so
that's
funny
a
that you didn't
weakness.
notice that one because that one was super obvious. This one, I think they were trying to make it a reveal. That one really wasn't.
I'm sorry.
That's funny. Yeah, so we see Millennia morph back into Elena, and everyone's like, whoa, what happened? She's like, what happened? Why am I outside now when I fell asleep in my bed? She doesn't remember anything, and she's pretty terrified about turning into a Valmar.
She should be.
Yeah, because that's like, that would be like a Christian person turning into Satan at night.
So we leave. Guess who decides to tag along with us? That's right, Shovel Roan.
Yeah, Roan's our best friend now, and we can talk to the...
Ryude is quite abusive to this child.
He is.
Yeah,
he's really
like,
mean to Roan.
I don't have time to be babysitter to some poor little rich boy.
Yeah, he's like, he goes back to Lollipop Lane a lot. Go back to
Yeah.
Lollipop
Yeah, he does.
Lane,
What
kid.
the fuck is that?
I was like, do they have is Lollipop Lane, is that Candyland or is that Wizard of Oz?
I feel like that's Wizard of Oz, like from the Lollipop Kill.
There's maybe,
Guild?
yeah.
I don't remember a
But I was
Lollipop
like, do they have
Lane?
Wizard of Oz? Me either.
I think it's just a stupid fucking thing he says because he's a moron.
Maybe it could be a Shirley
he's pretty
Temple
mean.
thing. Let me look it up.
Oh, maybe.
Well, while you do that, we decide it's time for us to head to Lilligue City.
Yeah, Roan is very well traveled, by the way. He knows everything about what's going on the continent.
Yes,
'cause
Jim,
he's like,
that's because he is a carny.
he is a carny. He's been everywhere. Did you guys by the way, speaking of carnies, did you guys talk to these circus folk before you left the inn in Gear Town?
Oh.
So-
Yeah.
Lollipop Lane is a colloquial term, particularly in British, Irish, and Australian English, for a crossing guard or traffic management personnel who aids pedestrians, especially children, in crossing busy roadways.
Mm-hmm.
What?
Huh.
What?
Yeah, instead of crossing, because their sticks look like a lolly.
What?
Totally normal thing for Ryude to reference.
Mm.
Might as well have mentioned MTV. Anyway, we have to go. Roan tells oh yeah, well, you can talk to these circus folk in the inn, and one of them, the stupid one, talks about how he lost the Beastman tooth that the boss gave him. And you can ask him about this a couple times, but it basically mentions there's a Beastman on the Big Plains.
Oh boy,
Yeah.
that's scary. Hope we don't run into him.
This was the design of this guy. Vanessa mentioned him earlier, but it's one of the more. interesting designs. Seems like anytime there's an overweight person, they have to make them look like a monster.
Wait, was this the guy with the big fork?
Yeah.
He's also... So there's so far like 2 dark-skinned people in the game. This one's the least bad. The other one being...
The next
like,
one...
This one is pretty bad.
Yeah,
like
this
they
guy
do
looks terrifying.
The like caricatures with the giant white lips thing. That's real bad. But the next one looks like literal KKK propaganda.
It does. It looks like it does. It looks like pro-white propaganda.
Yeah.
Hey,
This game came
this
out
guy
in
with
the
fork.
year 2000.
It was
Guy with
before we
fork, is
learned
he a
about racism.
gourmand? Is he a gourmand like Queen?
Maybe. Queena has
We'll
a
find
spoon.
out. Maybe that's his
right?
circus
Or
trick,
she's-
Vanessa.
Yeah.
They need to
Circus
have.
trick
They need to
is
have one of those
appreciating
Disney.
cuisine.
They need to have one of those Disney content warnings where it's like, this game was a product of the time in which it was released.
Yeah, the year 2000. Anyway, we have to head to Lilligue City so that we can cross the Granite Cliffs. What's a Granite Cliff?
A Granite Cliff. So, in the opening movie of the game, the opening cinematic of the game, you see Valmar and Granis, or like aspects of them, clash into each other, and then you see a big fissure open up in like the middle of the continent, and that fissure is the Granite Cliffs. So it's a big giant like cleave in the earth.
It's like a Grand Canyon.
Yeah, it is like a Grand Canyon. But the only way to get across the Granite Cliffs is to take the Skyway, which is like a balloon plane on cables that goes from one end of the Granite Cliffs to the other. So that's why we have to go to Are you guys pronouncing this Lilligue or Lillig?
I wasn't
Little
pronouncing
League.
it at all.
Same.
Little League. You have to go to Little League City.
Mm-hmm.
And see if you can get on that Skyway.
In order to do
That's
that, we have to
Skyway.
cross the baked plains. Am I right?
Oh, yeah.
Whoa.
Oh, I totally missed the baked plays. Probably because I was so baked when I played.
Snoochie boochies. Snoochie Boochies, listeners, is a reference to Jay and Silent Bob, the relatively famous Kevin Smith characters. Now, you, listeners, are probably too young to have watched those movies, and they don't hold up, so we would not suggest bothering.
I think Gen Z knows who Jay and Silent Bob are.
I
'cause
do
it
not.
It was just announced that they're going to be in Call of Duty.
Yeah,
Yeah,
not
I saw
Fortnite,
that.
so... But seriously, I don't think anyone under 30 knows who Jay and Silent Bob are. Like,
I
go
don't
ask
think
a
so
random...
either.
Except for Teddy, because Teddy likes old TV and watches lots of old stuff. But I would ask
likes
any
old
other person. You watch your mouth.
Gen Z only likes what TikTok feeds to them, okay? They don't have opinions.
Jay
Anyway,
and Silent Bob are like the Cheech and Chong of the
Gen X.
That's
of the millennials.
Yeah.
So,
And no, they're
Or
like
Gen X, maybe.
they're like the grunge Cheech and Chong.
yeah.
You are 100% right.
so we cross the baked plains. It's mostly just another 3-part little dungeon thing,
Yeah,
right?
just another chance to enjoy the great combat.
I fucking
in this
love the
game.
combat in this game. I love
I know.
So no
canceling
problem.
things attacks. It makes me very happy.
Yeah, timing a counter or a cancel and getting it just in time, like right when the animation starts. That's
Also,
good
now we've
shit.
got multiple mana eggs, so we're starting to get spells, which are pretty fun to use. Some of them, in my opinion, are a bit long. I was looking for some sort of turn off the fucking animation option, but this is an old game.
I wish.
For a remaster, this thing is missing a few key things, and one of those, my friends, are fucking autosaves. If you're going to remaster a game, put in some autosaves, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck you.
Yeah.
Let's talk about why in just a second.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we get to the end of the plane, and it's bedtime. Ryude pulls out his gigantic teepee-style tent that he, I guess, just has in his bag.
Did they have a big TP tent in the first one? I feel like
so.
when they were camping in the first one, they had something like this.
But he does have a big
Maybe
backpack.
not.
Like they do.
Yeah.
He's got like a scout size backpack. He could have a tent in there.
I like how detailed his backpack is. Like when the game does zoom in a little bit and you see Ryudo's like hiking pack, it's very detailed. You can see like all the little buckles on it and the bedroll, and it looks pretty cool.
But what happens, Jim? We set up camp. We get to have our first conversation. It's like a Dragon Age.
Yeah, you get all these little, and you get a bunch of these in the game, which is pretty cool that the game takes the time to do this. But you're kind of all sitting around a campfire, and there's a little cursor that lets you select the character, and then you can click on them and hear what they have to say. And if you do like basically one after the other, it forms it's like a conversation where they're talking to each other, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah,
I like it.
I agree. It's fun, and then when it's over, they all go to bed.
Yeah, it's bedtime, and I love that it's bedtime when you move the cursor to Ryudo, and there's just like a little sleeping guy icon. It's like, okay, bedtime now. But we are then accosted by the Beast Man that the stupid guy warned us about back in Gear Town.
I like this. You're inside the tent. Everybody's getting cozy. And then suddenly Ryudo's like, in fact, I think it handled it really well because if you're listening, as you're sitting at in the tent, you can hear the bugs chirping outside of your tent, and they do suddenly go quiet. And Ryudo kind of goes, "What just happened?" And nobody else realizes because they're city folk and carnies and not people that live.
Well, she was
out in
having
the
a bad
wild like
dream.
Ryudo.
She was focused on her screaming about like a big tongue swallowing her.
Oh,
yeah.
What did that happen here? Did that happen in the next town?
That she says, oh, no, I think that's what woke her up, is that she was having a nightmare about a tongue, but that could have been the next town.
No.
She was having some kind of nightmare for sure.
Yeah, where she said she was like wrapped up in a big tongue that was devouring her.
So we run outside and are accosted by a beast man. Johnny, the listeners are always fucking desperate for the answer to this question. So I'm just going to ask you, is this a Johnny boyfriend?
Well, let's look at his design.
Oh, yeah. Let's
Let's do that.
I love doing
Please.
this. What's his name?
Let's do it.
Moreg.
Mareg.
Mareg?
Mareg. Mareg, yeah.
Oh, Mareg. All right, I'm pulling up his design. Do you want me to copy it into the chat for you, Matt?
I got it.
Yes, please.
Ooh, he
You got
looks cool.
I always like a lion man, and that's what this is. He's got white hair. It's all extremely spiky. He's got a big white beard. His skin is
Are those
kind
big
of bronze.
ears?
He does have big old cat ears. No, they're not really cat ears.
Oh, they're like bear ears.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they are
ears,
like
they're
bear
round.
ears.
He's got one pauldron.
Bronze-colored skin. He's covered in stripes, but they kind of look like scars more than like stripes.
Yeah,
They
those aren't
do.
stripes. Those are like Zangief's bear wrestling scars.
He has hair on his knees, which I find very strange, like long hair on
And
his
his-
knees.
and his elbows.
elbows.
I have long hair on my toes. Is that normal?
Anywho, so answer the question, Johnny.
Yeah, sure. I mean, you know what? Look, he's fine. He's a
He
beefy
looks a lot
boy,
like,
but
what's his face from Final Fantasy X, but he's not blue.
yeah, I think Kamari's design is cuter.
Amaranth?
Kamari.
Oh, no. Kamari.
Yeah, Kamari's design is cuter. I will say that. He's
Yeah,
okay.
this kind of looks like this guy kind of looks like a Kuma in the face, which is not like a handsome
Yeah,
face.
he looks like one of those Japanese devil masks. He looks like that. His face.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Either way, my rating on this design is cool. He looks fucking cool.
Yeah,
And he uses like a big cleaver thing
There you
Yeah.
speak.
as his weapon.
no, it's
like
it's
got
like
a
a
big like
bladed.
half moon blade
Yeah.
on it. Yeah.
You get one of those
Pretty cool.
in Bloodborne. I forget what it's called. Like, and you can extend the reach of it.
That's the axe that you start with, right? The hunter's axe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it is an axe. Yeah, you're right.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's like it's kind of like a halberd.
Yeah.
Anywho, and this guy is all fucking wild about how
This,
Ryudo smells.
This guy, and
Yeah.
he's like, I smell that. He's like, that smell. And he's been hunting you, he says, and you have to fight him. And this guy has so many hit points. It is
Except when he's in your party, Jim.
I know,
I hate
except
that.
when he's in your party.
Whoa, spoilers.
Yeah, he's got big time plot armor.
Mhm.
But yeah, you have to fight him. It's a pretty tough fight. Like he's using his it was like spoiler. Well, it's not like tough, but it's kind of a grind because he has so much.
Yeah,
HP.
I agree with both of you. It is not tough, but it does take 10 minutes or so. Like it's
I did have to
after
do this
most
twice.
of these fights being very short.
Mashy, being real mashy. Yeah,
You had to
like,
do it
actually fight
twice,
this thing.
Johnny?
Yeah, why
Yeah,
did you have to do it
'cause-
twice?
I killed Beastman and then explored the area and cleared it out and, not grinded, but killed all the enemies. And then I left to go to Little League City. And then the game crashed on Switch. This is the first Switch game I've ever had crash, I think. I've never
wow.
seen that before.
I believe are you playing the HD collection?
Yeah.
With Grandia 1, Grandia 2. I had read somewhere that it is like not a great port. Like the textures and stuff are great, but I think like from like a software stability standpoint,
Yeah,
not the
technically.
best.
Jim accused me of installing too many mods just because I turned every enemy into a Vara furry Speedo man. So I had to do this
so
twice.
we fight this guy and we beat him, and he's like,
Well, that definitely won't happen to anybody
he's like-
else during this chunker, you know?
yeah, probably not. You fight this guy and you beat him, and he's like, wait, I was wrong. Sorry, I tried to kill you.
But he mentions a name.
He does. And that name is another one that I'm not really sure how I'm supposed to pronounce, but I've been pronouncing it as Melphis.
Yeah, me too.
That sounds right. There's when he says the name Melphis,
Mephiche.
sudden flash to a knight on a cliff top with a sword running through another person. It's very pixelated. They didn't up-res this art. So it is a very strange little flash. And then Ryude is like, oh, my bro. I said too much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm glad you guys are all sitting down for this because I do think that our JRPG protagonist might have a dark past.
Mm-hmm.
What?
No.
He's only
I wonder if
17.
this
How
would
do you have a
explain
dark
why
past?
he's such a bitter
might.
piece of shit.
He's
I don't
just
know.
a normal geohound,
Your average run-of-the-mill geohound.
which I still don't understand what that is.
I don't know why they have to call it a geohound. You don't have to do anything geologic.
In Hound, you're kind of like hunting down people, I guess.
But what does geo have to do with it?
They
their
have a
world,
GeoCities
like, on
page.
the
That's how
world, I
they
guess?
meet clients.
Okay.
It's through their GeoCities page.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
So we beat Merrick. We go to Lilac City, and Lilac City, the Roan, when you get there, Roan is like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad we're here, because the last time I came through here, I forgot to try the most delicious delicacy in the world, and we should totally do it while we're here. And Ryudo's like, shut the fuck up. We're not doing anything you like.
Little boy.
Not eating anything.
There's a great cutscene as we approach the city from like a bird's eye view, and I thought it was pretty
happens-
fucking cool.
This happens every time you get to a new town.
Okay, well, I
The
thought it was
game,
pretty
like,
cool.
You get like this like overhead shot that goes like 360 around the town. It is
Okay,
very
Jim, I'm sorry.
satisfying.
I was
You can
excited
tell.
about something. Holy shit.
No, I'm not. I
No,
like
I get it.
too,
I'm
and
a
I've
little
seen it a
boy.
million times.
You don't want to try the delicacies.
You know who Ryude reminds me of is that Andy Samberg throw it on the ground guy, you know? It's like, you know, if he like had a birthday cake, he would just toss that thing on the floor.
Happy
and be
birthday
like,
to the ground.
I'm not gonna be part of your system.
Fucking love that video.
I haven't seen.
love
I don't
that
know what
thing.
you're talking about.
You've never
No, I'm
seen
gonna
throw
send
it
it
on
right
the
now.
ground.
My dad's not a cell phone.
Anyway, we make it to Liligu City, but we learn that the Skyway is not accepting passengers. Oh no!
Are they?
No,
Are they? They're not accepting passengers because they're doing like freight only, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's higher
I wasn't sure.
profit.
Like, is this thing shut down?
You know, this is what
Yeah.
happens when you privatize
Better
public
margins.
need.
Yeah.
There's a cutscene here. I don't really remember how this happens. Like, we pass out or like help a
No,
little
you
kid?
run into there's a kid who's like sitting in the street and you run into him and Elena's like, "Oh no, what's wrong? Are you sick?" And he's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
"I'm so hungry. I haven't eaten in so long." And she gives him an apple and then he takes it and runs away. And you go
I
to
think
follow
he doesn't
him.
even take it. Doesn't he just run away from it? Or does he
No,
take
he takes it and then because you can talk to the parents about it, and
Yeah,
the
the
parents
mom
are like,
comes up and is like-
"Don't give him hope."
Yeah, the mom
Yeah.
comes up and is like, "Don't encourage him," and you're like, "What?"
it? Mm-hmm.
Kids should be
But
eating
yeah,
apples, lady.
We run after this kid and we find out that that everyone in this village is cursed with no sense of taste, and the only thing they can stomach to eat is the disgusting local delicacy, the
COVID.
arum root, or the Gaisal pickle, I think is what it is.
This is just COVID.
Oh, you think they
you
all
lose
just
your
have
sense of
COVID?
taste.
Yeah.
There's one little girl in town who is excited about this because she has eating disorder. Did you talk to her?
Oh, really? No,
Oh,
I don't think
no.
so.
Yeah, you can have a whole conversation with her where she'll talk about how she is happy that she has this because it's helping her lose weight, and then she admires Elena's figure and asks what her diet is, and Elena talks about how she doesn't diet, she just gets a lot of exercise and is really active, and then the girl decides that she will also take up exercising so she can eat what she wants and still maintain her figure. It goes on and on and on. Like, there's loads of dialogue screens. So that
Wow.
was fun. I love it
That's
when
cool.
JRPGs have a little bit of, like, body shaming for the ladies in it.
Hey, there's plenty of body shaming on the men in this chunker too. So,
Yeah, but I authentically enjoy that.
oh, okay. Well, that's fine.
So, but the short version is all the townsfolk have been cursed, and they don't have like a sense of taste, and the only thing they can stomach is this super gross arum root. We go and have a meal of arum root, and everybody's like vomiting. Like, this is disgusting.
Yeah, you get one of those. Well, is this a cut? Yeah, this is just a cut
It's one of
scene
those
when you're
roundabout
saying at the end.
things.
Oh, it's one of those roundabout.
It is.
I didn't know if it was or not. Okay, so you get another little like fireside scene where you can talk to all the party members, and they're talking about. Well, Rona's talking about how excited he is for this, and then you just get a little like montage of them talking about how disgusting this arum root is.
Mm-hmm.
Vanessa sent some screenshots of it. I don't think Roan said the consistency is like sand, but then somebody else described it as like soggy and gross.
Mm-hmm.
Like what?
They really get
What's the
into
deal
like
here?
how much they hate it. The little boy is like, "Is this even edible?
Yeah.
It feels awful in my mouth."
And so so that's the only thing that these villagers can eat. But Ryude is like, we should probably get out of here. This place is weird. So the little boy that you gave the apple to, his dad is one of the engineers. They spend a lot of time talking about how rich these engineers are too, by the way. And I was like, I don't
They talk
understand.
about it a lot.
I don't understand what they're trying to communicate by
Well,
talking
I
about the
think what-
salary of these
I
engineers.
think what they're trying to communicate is that even though these people are cursed and can only eat this trash, like they don't want to leave because the money is so good here. Working for the company.
Oh, that's right. They're like, yeah, we could move, but also like one, we don't know if we move if the curse will go away, and two, if we move, then we're going to be making a lot less money. So,
Mhm.
so
And then Ryude like starts just shaming them for it. He's like, "Why would you stay here just for money, you greedy asshole?"
oh yeah. when you can go talk to this engineer after you complete the little mission here, and he's like, they mention the salary again. He's like, I know you might think me staying here for the money is pretty shallow, but it's our home. It's like, can we stop talking about it? It's weird. But the engineer guy, who's the father of the kid you gave the apple to, is like, if you really want to go, then you need to get permission from Gadan, who's the boss of the Skyway. And so you have to go to Gadan's house, and Gadan, totally normal, forgettable character. Mm-hmm. His design is like nothing to write home about.
Nothing super racist about that.
I don't even want to describe it.
No, there's no need to.
Yeah, just know it does look like 1910s KKK drawings.
Yeah, it doesn't look good.
He's eating while we have this discussion with him, and it's fucking amazing.
The
it's my
animation's
favorite
really fun.
Animation I've ever seen in a video game. I screen capped it, I edited it, I cropped it, I shared it with the group. I'll post it on the Facebook. Don't even think I won't. It's fucking delightful. He takes his fork and his knife and he stabs this, I don't know what it is that he's eating. Ham hock or whatever.
Ham hock.
Makes this like ka-chunk sound. And then he takes just a big old slice of it up and puts it in his mouth. And there's this just fucking atrocious like sound.
That like slurping sound. When I played this part, I had my earbuds in because I was traveling, and like the sound was almost too much. Like it was freaking me out how gross it was.
Because it happens
like, it sounds disgusting.
It happens in like a 6-second loop.
Yeah, it's a loop. It just goes over and
conversation. And then the best part is that once he has eaten his slice of ham, let's say, he does a lick of his lips where his tongue just goes all the way around, like from the corner of his mouth up to his forehead, down to his chin.
Yeah.
It's fucking delightful. I loved it. I mean, I'm not trying to say that I liked the frankly disturbing racism of the dark-skinned man with the white lips and the dreadlocks. That was uncomfortable, but just the animation itself, absolutely fucking delightful.
Mm-hmm.
Good stuff. Well, so Gadan's like, normally I don't let people go, but if you give me 10,000 gold, I'll let you. And Ryude immediately is like, deal. Which I thought was weird.
He just wants to go. He wants out of this fucking town. He does not want to have to eat arrowroot for the rest of his life.
10,000 gold.
Yeah, I didn't have 10,000 gold. I feel like the game is really stingy with gold, actually.
I felt like this would be a great opportunity for the game to be like, hey, do you still have that golden statue? What if you offer
Which is worth like 50 gold. Oh, no, it's like 500 gold, yeah.
But they don't do that. Instead, you just agree to it and leave. The end.
Yeah, also one thing I will say about the economics of this game, you'll usually be in pretty good shape if you remember to sell all of your old armor and weapons and even your old accessories that do nothing but...
They pay good prices for that used stuff. I like it.
They pay good prices for the old stuff, and it's usually, but in fact, like every time, especially in this playthrough where I'm like making sure to get every inch, I feel like I have just enough to get everything I want at the shops between the dungeons and selling my old stuff. That is also a very satisfying thing about this game.
You also find a lot of equipment in the field, and I also it doesn't feel like the type of game where like if your equipment is a level behind, like it's a huge detriment.
Yeah. Also, I leveled up that adventure book as soon as I got it, and one of the perks of that adventure book that you can equip is that enemies will drop. It basically increases the likelihood that enemies will drop rare items. I am getting so much equipment, like so many equipment drops that are just redundant. Like I'll have like 4 or 5 helms or like multiple sets of armor that I can just offload at a store. Yeah, Matt, go ahead.
One of the things that I absolutely adore about this game is that when you are fighting enemies on the field and you kill them, they physically drop the loot. And it will be a polygonal representation of that thing. So like
Like
if
a
you
helmet.
kill something and it drops a helmet falls on the ground. Or my favorite, if you kill something and it drops a ring, this gigantic ring will just pop out of its corpse. Like the only thing that's not very satisfying is the money, because usually it's like a couple of coins on the ground, but other than that, like,
there are different denominations. Like if it's like a medium amount of money, it's silver. If it's a lot of money, it's like a big wide pile of gold.
Also,
yeah, those weird zombie things drop piles of silver, or like
Also, potions will have, like, you can tell what kind of potion it is just by looking at it. Like they do, all of the different potions look different on the field, and I think that's awesome. I don't know why, but I find it so satisfying, and like it makes me happy when I kill something and just like a giant ring pops out of it. Like I'm like, ooh, what's this giant ring?
It's pretty cool. And like going back to what I said about that thing, like actually like working when it increases the likelihood of equipment drops. Every time you see like an accessory or an item that says like it increases the likelihood of this, it will work like half the time. I feel like whenever like there's an accessory you can get later that says like increases the likelihood of a counterattack after receiving damage. I was counterattacking all the time. It felt like that's like when it says increases likelihood, it's very generous with the odds it tips in your favor.
I have a question. What is the move stat? Because I thought it was speed, but it doesn't seem to be speed. So I don't know what it does.
So I think I maybe it's the other way around. I don't know. I'll just say this. One of them dictates like how close to the command part of the line your characters start at the beginning of battle. Oh. And then one of them determines how much you can move on the actual physical field. I don't know if it's speed or move or speed, but they each do one of those things, I think.
I've mostly been giving the seeds to Ryude because I assume he's going to be in the party the most. And it's like with every JRPG.
Yeah, and you should
always do that.
You like, and one of the great things about that, I'll talk about it again, that thing that increases the likelihood of rare drops. Enemies are always dropping like seeds of defense and seeds of strength or whatever.
Nice.
That I can just give to Ryude all the time, and he's so powerful.
All right, I found an explanation of the stats. So Aggie, which sounds like agility, affects how often your character gets to act and how fast they move on the IP bar. So that's huge.
Okay.
Mag is magic effectiveness. Men is magic defense. Speed is running speed and how far they can run in battle.
Okay,
Strength,
so speed is how far they
physical
go.
attack, vitality, physical defense. And then those are normal stats. Then there are in battle stats, which are different. Move is a variable of speed.
What does that mean?
Speed is the running speed and how far they can run in battle. So
I get
if you use a spell that increases their move, they run faster, they can move further, but it does not increase the IP bar speed.
You said it's a variable, so like if my run is it speed run? If my speed stat is like let's say 10. And then you cast runner on me, and I get a move because it's like the stat and then 1 or a 2 or a 3 or whatever, depending on like how powerful the spell is and how many times you cast it. But let's say like I have a base stat of 10, and then you cast runner on me, and I get a move 1. What does that do to my stat then? Is it 15 now? Is it 12?
Jim, I said I found a list of the stats. I didn't say that I found a fucking explanation of the math.
I want to understand how the math works.
Which is a variable of strength and mag. Defense, a variable of vitality and men. And then the last one, which is the one that I've been wanting to know about, is act, which is a variable of Aggie. So if you want to increase your IP bar, you're going to want to use spells that increase act.
Oh, Matt, what's the factor on that? Like, if I cast it once, what does it do to my base?
So next up,
agility
we go to the Church of Granus.
Yeah, I don't remember why we go to the church, but the priest is like, there are some rumors about this town being built on an old Granus temple. This game switches a little bit between Granus and Granus. I've definitely heard Granus in the voice acting in this game more than once.
Oh, because it's Grandia.
So that's Grandia. but the priest is like, he's like, in fact, I think they recently did some excavation of this old temple. I think but like nobody really goes down there anymore. But there might be a way there.
Oh yeah,
and
there are like big stone like pillars in town that they kind of assume are part of a deeper, older ruin.
Yeah, they're like supporting something deeper. So they're like, there must be a way down there. And did you guys have trouble finding how to get into this ruin? No? Okay.
I did not.
No, I'd seen the hatch before, so.
I just kind of ran into the hatch and was like, well, there's a hatch. I went out, I exited the town wondering if there would be a new thing on the map, and there wasn't, so I walked back into the town and walked up to the hatch and was like, well, there it is.
Yeah, so we go down. Well, Elena and Ryude are like, oh man, wonder what the deal is. Everyone's acting really weird, and there's this temple down there, and Elena's like, it must be another one of the, like, Valmar seals down there that we need to go check out. That must be why everyone's cursed, because Valmar sucks, and all he does is curse people. So you decide to find a hatch and go down to the temple and see what's going on. This was a longer dungeon, and I feel like the enemies got a little bit tougher down here.
Just the gargoyles and the zombie guys they take more damage and do more damage. But
speaking of going back to the rare drop thing, if you have that equipped and it's fully leveled up, some of the gargoyle enemies at the beginning of the dungeon will drop a sword for Ryude that does like 1.5 times damage on undead enemies, and he will just slaughter those zombie things.
Where do you get this? I thought this was something that would come later. Where do you get this?
So that the book you got from the Minotaur boss in Agir Town. So have you looked at the books at all, John?
Yes. Yeah.
So you can level up. They're like passive buffs and stat buffs in there. But there's one at the very bottom that's called like Pirate's Treasure or something like that. But if you level that all the way up, if an enemy can do a rare drop, it probably will.
Okay. I'll have to put some time into that. You can
get lots and lots of real good stuff.
Okay. I will put some time into
definitely
buffing
worth
that.
it. Yeah, and in fact, in this dungeon, those flying like brain eyeball enemies, those are the ones that almost always dropped seeds of defense and seeds of attack or seeds of power or whatever.
I might redo this dungeon and make sure.
I would. Points. You can go back and get a lot of good stuff.
I'll do that.
It takes a lot to level up that book, and I assume, because I have not seen it, but there's the ability that Jim is referencing seems to be, I assume, the one that you can't unlock until you've unlocked all the rest, until you've maxed out all of the rest.
I don't think so.
It's definitely not one of the options that are available at the start.
Oh, really? I feel like I got it. Well, I was so like what I did was I kind of banked all of those SC, which stands for special coins. I'd kind of banked all my special coins because I just couldn't think of a compelling reason to spend them on the abilities, because like I was kind of doing really well in the game. So I was like, I'll save them for the book, which I think is coming up. And so those special coins can either level up your character's abilities, which are kind of like their limit breaks a little bit, kind of, or they'll level up stuff from the books. Like, so those two things share those SC. So if you're spending a lot on your abilities, you probably won't have a lot for the book, but I would recommend spending as many as you can on the books, because the books provide such really strong passive buffs and stat buffs that it's 100% worth the investment. That's a gym tip.
Yeah,
it's a good tip.
I've been unlocking too many abilities, I think.
Yeah, and those abilities are so strong anyway. Like, you really don't have to worry about grinding them a little bit till a little bit later in the game. So
okay.
Or you can play however you want. You know,
or you can play however you want.
It's fun to level those things up and do a shitload of damage. That's what I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm doing tons of damage.
I just love to get rare drops from enemies in games. It's really satisfying. So I went that route. Anyway, we go into the temple, and there's another dungeon here, which is fun.
This one has those lights that you can light up. And so what you're saying is this is a mechanic they never finished.
Correct.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to do anything.
No, it doesn't. It has no bearing on the getting through the dungeon. It doesn't really matter.
It's a little useful for showing where you've been. So I would light the lamps as I went, so I knew I'd been down that path.
I did that in this little winding area too. Yeah, it's a good indicator that you've already been down there, especially when you're going around looking for treasure and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get into the temple area proper, and there's a little I call it a puzzle. It's just kind of going from switch to switch, but this is a part where you have to do the different colored lights, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's the tablet that says you have to light up each candle to pass. It's not a candle, it's like a ball on a...
Yeah, there's red, yellow, and green balls.
There's a very difficult block puzzle. I don't know if I could solve that one.
And it's the most forgiving puzzle too, because if you accidentally push... So there's in order to reach the switch, one of the switches to unlock this big gate, you have to there are 3 blocks, 2 of them are in alignment and one of them isn't. So you need to move the one in alignment with the rest across, but there's also some treasure behind the boxes. So if you push the block in a different direction first, you can go get the treasure. If you're stupid like me and decide to push the blocks together to form the bridge first before getting the treasure, you might be mad that the game is going to punish you by locking you out of that treasure. But if you go to walk away just a little bit, it resets the blocks for you anyway, so you can go back and get the treasure regardless.
I had this exact same experience.
I was like, oh, that's really nice. So yeah, there's a couple of these puzzles where you have to push some stuff around. You have to flip the switches to light the blue colored or I think it's blue. Is it blue, green, and yellow? I don't remember. It doesn't really matter. You have to light the colored orbs to open the gate, and you do that, and then you get to I don't remember what they call it, but the spot where they seal the Valmar thing, where all the weird machinery is. You find that, and it's broken.
Oh no.
Yeah, and you're like, what the heck is going on here? And then this crazy looking monster that looks like a too scary Muppet a little bit shows up, which is a big googly eyed monster crab, and it eats Elena, which was fucking hilarious. It eats Elena, but then spits out Millennia.
Yeah. We probably shouldn't have been too surprised by Elena being eaten, because that man we talked about before went on for some detail about how good she smelled and how he wanted to eat her.
What does that have to do with this monster? I don't see the connection here.
Oh, I'm just saying that, if he thinks that she smells good to eat, maybe a monster would think that she smells good to eat, too.
Okay.
Was anybody else disappointed that this was not just a big tongue?
Oh,
yeah.
yes, very much so.
I thought I was going to be fighting just a big tongue.
I liked the design of this thing, but it was not a big tongue, which is what I was hoping for.
No, it's a crab, and then I guess deep inside of it, it has a little ball with teeth that has a tongue that lives inside it.
I don't know.
Most crabs have mouths. It's not...
So let's back this up a little bit, because this might put this into context a little. So Millennia, when you play as her ability, she has very powerful abilities. But I think the one that she starts out with is called something wings.
Wings of Valmar.
Yeah.
No, it's called Fallen Wings. And so she casts Fallen Wings, which is a big kind of spectacle. There's whole animation that they lay over the game, which is cool. But it's very powerful. But she'll also go into rage mode sometimes if she takes too much damage. and start casting her abilities herself. And after you defeat each of these Valmar pieces, this one being the tongue, Vanessa referenced the weird tongue spell that it can cast that has like weird 3D teeth, which is kind of gross. But when Millennia, spoiler alert, absorbs the tongue, these pieces, she gets to cast those spells. So that's an ability.
Fun.
Oh, that's neat.
That's an ability that she gets after you beat this dungeon.
Is it called Tonguey?
It's called, I don't remember
Is it
what it's
called
called.
Like
Cunnilingus?
starving mouth or something.
But it looks like a Langolier with like human teeth that has
Yeah,
a
it like
tongue.
zooms into
coming
the
out
thing
of it.
and it's like deep inside it, like it's attached to its nervous system. Is the
Yeah, it's really
Langolier
weird.
teeth guy.
This fight took me a half hour.
Wow, why? Were you trying to beat like every little individual piece first?
I guess, yeah. I didn't realize that I didn't have to do that.
Yeah, if you usually when you fight these Valmar pieces, if you kill the main body thing, the rest of it will die. So just like unload all of your spells and all your abilities on the Valmar thing, because it's usually Valmar's X.
Mm-hmm.
Every other thing will die.
Is
I
Granas
did
Valmar's
kill it
X?
piece by piece.
Maybe.
Probably.
I killed it
What do you-
piece by piece, but I used a lot of area of effect spells that hit everything. So
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah, you can do it that way, but you don't have to.
Well, thankfully for me, as soon as I finished this fight, my game crashed.
Oh.
And since this thing doesn't have any sort of autosave, I am going to have to repeat this fight.
Well, now you know how to do it quickly.
Yep, that's good.
Just hit the. Well, we also forgot to mention too. Merrick joins your party. Merrick's a party member now.
Yes, yeah. I was wondering if you had mentioned that. As soon
Yeah.
as you leave the church, he's out there and he's talking about how he can smell the bad smell underground, and so he joins the party. Whatever. It's not.
Yeah.
He's a good character.
Merrick's a great character.
Yeah, he hits harder than Ryude does, and he's tough and cool. He doesn't come with his
I
own
will
mana
say-
egg though, which stinks.
Maybe this is the
I don't
last
think
time
you
I'm going to
should be
mention it. I
casting
promise.
magic.
This is the last time I'm going to mention this. I promise. But if you have leveled that book up all the way, there's a strength buff where if it's max level, you can put it on Ryudo, and his attack stat is like 35 points higher than Merrick's. He can be so strong if you level that up and give it to him. He will be doing so much damage.
So we beat the tongue. Millennia absorbs
And then
it.
Millennia sucks it up. Yeah.
Yeah.
She absorbs it. Nom 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 nom.
That seems bad since we don't want the the Valmar pieces to rejoin.
Yeah,
and
because we're told if the body of Valmar gets completed, then that's like the day of darkness and the world will be destroyed. So that's bad.
bad.
That's bad stuff.
That's
Bad.
it, though.
Bad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we beat the tongue. Millennia absorbs it, and that's the end of the chunker. Next chunker, we will be playing until we leave the Saint Heim Papal State. Do you guys say papal or papal?
Papal.
I say papal.
I don't know why I just said papal. I read it as papal. Papal State.
You're hungry.
Saint
Hungry for
Hyman
apples.
Papal statue. Got it.
So yeah. Before we go into our squarely against, Johnny, will you tell me before we get into our level up, Johnny, will you tell me what you're squarely against?
Rito. He just sucks. How could you make your main character, and I feel like this is somewhat on the, I'm sure part of it's the original Japanese, but this feels like the localizer just being an asshole. And I know how to write the coolest character.
It's too quippy to be just like a straight translation. You know what I mean? It's got some some gross guy attitude on it.
I don't like it. I don't like his writing. I don't like whoever wrote this. Sorry, but don't make your main character a piece of shit. It's like why you shouldn't have Chris Pratt headline a movie. I won't like it. What about Vanessa?
Godin. I am squarely against Godin.
Yeah, that
for
makes
no
sense.
fault of his own. It is just the way he is portrayed and his great, awful tongue.
His 200 pounds of lard ass.
Yeah.
Fucking Ryude.
I thought in his sprite, originally when I saw it, I thought he was like eating a pepper, and that was what was sticking out of his mouth, but no, it's his terrible tongue, and I don't like him. Matt, what are you squarely against?
Crashing. Crashing is bad.
Oh,
and
yeah.
It sucks.
That's
It sucks
true. I
that
should've gone for
happens.
that.
It sucks that this is a goddamn brand new game. It's a remaster. Like, fix your fucking game, dude. I have to redo this fucking fight, and I'm really unhappy about it.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm probably for Ryude. Like, just a cool, chill guy
That's what
that
happens.
I totally relate to.
I mean, the,
Oh, no.
the crashes. I mean, the crashes are going to happen when you play an advanced Dreamcast game on a piece of relic old tech like the Switch.
You're right.
True.
But that's playing
Yeah.
on Xbox.
Series X, by the way, so it's not exactly
Oh, you are playing on Xbox. aren't
not
you?
exactly an old piece of shit. Jim, did you give us a squarely against?
No, but I will say I am roundly for those books. Get a book and level it up, guys. Come on.
Stop talking about these fucking books. Like, talk about anything other than these books.
Get a book, level it up. You'll have a much better time.
What about...
And that's true for life, too. Get a book.
Stop
and
talking
learn
about
it.
books. No one cares.
Speaking of, why don't we dive into our level up segment, and I'll kick us off and say that I recently read a great book called The Quantum Thief. I'm not kidding, though. The Quantum Thief by Hanu Rajanimi. I probably butchered that. I apologize. This is not the first time I've read The Quantum Thief. In fact, it's the third time I've read The Quantum Thief, but I haven't read it in like a decade, and I forgot the details. I'm sure I've mentioned it on the show before, to be honest, but I wanted to briefly talk. I have like 4 things to talk about, so I'm going to be very brief. But I wanted to say I reread The Quantum Thief. It is a science fiction novel. It is akin to the culture novels, if you are familiar with those, in that it is set in like a far future where technology has progressed to the point that it is almost unintelligible to the reader. Which probably sounds terrible, but actually makes for like a really good, fun time. It's a great book. It is so smartly written with lots of great twists and turns, some of which you'll see coming, some of which you won't. But when you see them coming, it still kind of rewards you just by being so clever. At its heart, it is a book about a thief and a detective. So it's a bit like Lupin the Third, I think, is the Quantum Thief himself, the titular Quantum Thief. Is a bit like Lupin the Third, and the Quantum Thief kind of rolls in a young Sherlock Holmes type detective, but it is set mostly on Mars in a bizarre society in a city called the Oubliette. I believe that the writer, if he's not French, he must have spent time in France, because there's a lot of French in this book, which made it kind of hard for me.
Maybe he's Canadian.
Nope, definitely not. But it made it kind of hard for me to pronounce a lot of the words. I did spend a lot of time looking things up, which is probably not great. But
No, it's good. That's what you should do when you don't know something.
oh boy, so I'm gonna look him up real quick. I remember reading about this guy back in the day. I want to say that not only is he, let's see, he's a Finnish American author. I want to say that he holds like doctorates or something. Like the guy's clearly very fucking smart. The technology is like extrapolations of current technology, which is what science fiction tends to be, but very modern, like super cutting edge modern versus, you go back and read like Heinlein and stuff and you're like, yeah, well, now we have fucking TVs and cell phones, dude. It's a little silly. Anyway, it is an excellent book. I am just about finished with the sequel, which I had never read before, and it also is just a shockingly like smartly written book where there are again twists and turns that when you get to them you feel like shocked and surprised. Like I cannot recommend The Quantum Thief enough if you are in the mood for some science fiction. It is top tier. I absolutely adore it. I also watched a movie that Jim made me watch, because that's what Jim does. He makes me watch movies. And he made me watch a movie called Hellboy, The Crooked Man.
Oh, that was a good one.
It was a good one, Jim. I was a little shocked. The trailers made me think it was going to be bad. It leans into the horror aspects of Hellboy. It leans into the anthology aspects of Hellboy, where, I mean, it's a solo movie, so maybe that's not quite true, but it feels like a story set in this guy's life about, you know, this agent dealing with a thing, and it's not. I feel like the other Hellboy movies have all been like, let's lean into all they want to. I've read Hellboy, the comic book. I'm a big fan. And I feel like the Hellboy movies always do the same thing of like, he's a superhero and like he's got this tragic future where I think he's kind of the Antichrist. And so they always want to dive into that. But what makes Hellboy so good is not that stuff, but the little stories of him just dealing with a goddamn witch or a fucking some fairy that is fucking up somebody's life. And that is what makes the Hellboy comic so good. And it really worked for The Crooked Man, which is a smaller, tighter budget story, but I really thought was fucking excellent. And unfortunately, I looked it up. Doesn't look like it did very well. I don't think we'll be getting a sequel. I was not sold on the actor. Basically a bunch of no-name actors, but honestly, I thought every single one of them was fantastic. What a movie. Definitely, it's on Hulu right now in the States. If you had any hesitation, check out that Hellboy movie. It is good. And finally, I watched 2 shows. One of them I watched all of. It was Spider-Man Freshman Year, or whatever the fuck it's called. It's the new Spider-Man animated series.
Is that like Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, or
it could
local
be
guy Spider-Man?
I feel like it's
Spider-Man, your friend.
Changed names. I feel like at one point it was gonna be like a part of the MCU, you know, like a continuation or something. It is your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. And then I feel like they changed that at some point. Maybe I just completely misunderstood the whole premise. It is very MCU like adjacent. Like it is a take on Spider-Man that is spawned from the MCU and not from Marvel Comics, which is okay. It is not attempting to be the MCU in any way, shape, or form. It's a very different version of that story. The Spider is different. Like the Spider Bite stuff is completely different. He's got different friends, but it's kind of a younger, who was the Aunt May in the who's the Aunt May in the new movies?
Marissa Tomei.
Marissa Tomei. It's got a very Marissa Tomei Aunt May. It's got a very Tom Holland Peter Parker, but it's very different in other ways. Like he's got his best friend is
Nico. How did John get the answer right when Matt asked the wrong question?
No, he didn't. You heard the wrong question.
Oh, I heard the wrong question. I thought you said who. Oh, never mind. Okay. Sorry.
His best friend is Nico Minoru, which Marvel Comics fans will recognize that name. There's no mention of what's-his-face from the movies. This series features Harry and Norman Osborn. It does race swap them into being black. That works very well.
That's woke.
Yeah, it works very well because that hair never made sense on a white man, and it always drove me crazy. Norman Osborn.
That's a good point.
Anyway, it actually was fantastic. Now, I talked to Vanessa about this. The lead actor of the show, whose name is Hudson Thames, right before the show came out, said something in an interview along the lines of, like, I'm so glad this show isn't woke. Which I thought was, when I watched it, I thought was hilarious because it's woke as fuck, my friends. Not only do they race swap major characters and give Peter Parker a gay best friend, it is all across the board features people of color as like not just secondary characters, but main supporting cast with their own stories and their own lives. It is about as fucking woke as a show could be. So isn't that hilarious? What a dipshit. Part of me wonders if Disney didn't feed him that line just to try and claw back some of the viewers that were otherwise probably going to review bomb it. Anyway, your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, really fucking fun. I was shocked. I waited months to watch it. I was like, I don't know if I'm that interested. And I ended up watching the whole series in a single day. It was fantastic. fantastic. I loved it. Lots of fun twists on classic Spider-Man villains, classic Spider-Man origins, backgrounds, backstories, and stuff. Really, really good. In a lot of ways, it sets up Norman Osborn as his like Tony Stark from the MCU. And we all know that ain't gonna work out. Anyway, I don't want to spoil it, but it was very good, and I recommend giving that a shot. And finally, just today, I watched the first few episodes of a show, and I want to bring it up. That show is called The Bondsman, and it stars
No spoilers.
Kevin Bacon as a bounty hunter, or bail bondsman, really, who is murdered and brought back from hell to hunt down demons. This show is on Amazon Prime. It is a Blumhouse production, and it shows, because this show's fucking gnarly. It's gross, which I really like. It's really gross and a good fun time. I watched the first 3 episodes. I thought that it was really fun. I am looking forward to Jim watching it and getting his take, because I think he will like it a lot. And if you are a horror or horror adjacent fan out there of the show, of those things, I think that you'll like it too. Check out The Bondsman. That's a good time. Vanessa.
Yeah.
How did you level up?
Well, there's only one show on everyone's lips. It's sweeping the nation. It's sweeping multiple nations. And I am, of course, talking about Netflix's Adolescence.
Violent Boy Show.
Adolescence.
What
boy
did you
show.
call it earlier? The Angry Boy
Violent
Show?
Boy Show.
Angry
You just
Boy
said it
Show.
again.
Violent
Isn't it
Boy.
Violent
Oh,
Boy
sorry.
Show?
Oh, sorry, I missed
Violent
it.
Boy Show. Violent Boy Show is a British miniseries from Jack Thorne and Stephen Graham. It is only 4 episodes long, and sort of 2 things make it stand out. The first is the performance from Owen Cooper, who is the titular violent boy, a 13-year-old boy. It is an amazing child performance, one of the best I've seen.
He was a no-name before this,
He was
I think,
a no-name.
right?
He was a no-name. He was plucked from obscurity, and they say that maybe that's why his performance comes across as so authentic and kind of unencumbered by ideas of what acting should be. But
Oh.
the other interesting thing is that each of these hour-long episodes are done in one shot.
That's mind-blowing.
An authentic one shot, not
Is it an
like
authentic one shot?
It is.
Yeah,
It is a pure one-shot.
a pure one shot. And
How can you do
So
that?
it's a play. It's a play.
Yeah, it's a play more or less, but
Yeah.
it's a play in which people get in cars and move from location
There
to
are
location.
like drone shots. I saw one that was a pullback from someone getting into a car, and it transitioned and then the camera just kept going up into a drone shot, and I was like, how the fuck did they do that?
There are chase scenes. There's a lot of more intimate scenes too, of just people like in a room or in a car.
Those are
but
my
they-
favorite. I've seen 2 of the episodes.
Yeah. Oh,
those
have
are my
you?
favorite.
Oh, good.
Yeah, those like my favorite scenes in that are where it's just like 2 people in a room,
Mhm.
because like all the acting is so like raw.
Yeah.
And the camera is actually moving in really interesting ways where like these characters like as they're like emoting or kind of moving around the space like you would in like a play, but the camera like moves around them as they move around the space,
Yeah,
and like
it's sort of balletic.
I can't imagine how many rehearsals it took to do that.
Yeah.
Like it's insane that they were able to pull it off like so seamlessly. Like it's
From
so
what
crazy.
I understand, they like rehearsed each episode for 2 weeks, and then they filmed it for 5 days with 2 tries a day. So they'd basically like over the
Interesting.
5 days, they'd film each episode twice
Oh, wow.
and try to get the right shot. So if you're
Wow.
at all interested in cinematography, like that, for that reason alone, it's worth watching. But it's also just a really solid, good show about sort of. It really is about like incel stuff and the manosphere and that kind of radicalization of young boys. So if you're interested in that, and I know many of our listeners are, because it tends to intersect with the less savory parts of gaming culture,
Yeah, I will say, as a parent of teenagers, it is like a real fear or insecurity that I have that like one of these kids is gonna get sucked into that red pill manosphere shit, and you're gonna have to deprogram them.
What would you how kid or teen friendly is this show? Not at all. Somewhat. Very.
It's not like particularly violent. It's more just psychological.
There's a lot of like tits though, or like
no, it's a drama. Like it's almost a melodrama.
Yeah, I would say that it's oriented more towards people who are older, just in that.
Well, you kind of get the perspective of a lot of it is from the adults in the room.
Yeah, yeah, and I think that part of what makes Owen's performance so good is that it relies on you as an adult looking at a child.
You're watching it like you're watching this kid kind of implode a little bit, and that's kind of what makes it so uncomfortable. Like, you're not watching the reactions of the parents. It's kind of fixated on what this kid is going through, and that's what makes it so powerful, I think.
Yeah, and I did think going in, like, oh, will this, like, one-shot thing be kind of gimmicky? But I think what's brilliant about it is that each episode, and they're not, like, sequential days. So it follows the same incident, but it's, like, kind of 4, not random days, but maybe the 4 most important days in this investigation. And it's so uncomfortable and tense, but because of the way it's shot, it really discourages you from like looking at your phone or looking away or playing around with something while you're watching it. And I think that's really powerful.
I think it's almost like the idea of doing this subject in one shot just kind of like adds to the gravity of it in a way. You can tell that the guy that plays the dad is a guy that created the show. And he like he's great in it, by the way, but like you could tell like that was a very intentional choice to like be like, we're like, you can't look away from this thing. Like this is so important that you you need to like look at it all. It's really, it sounds like super gimmicky, but like
but it's great.
Works so well. Yeah.
And I thought that part of it too, especially in like the first episode, because it's done in real time, you're seeing sort of the drama of it, but also the banality of some of it. It's like when you're like with the police, it's like, oh, they're just kind of going through their normal daily operations. And you see the kind of routineness of it too, which I think makes it a lot more powerful in some ways.
Yeah.
So if you have Netflix, definitely recommend it. At least give this first episode a watch to see what they were able to pull off, because it's really pretty amazing. And my other recommendation is another streaming show. This one's on Prime, also from UK. Totally different. It's called Last One Laughing.
TikTok has been really shoving this down my throat the last week.
Now, this is just Taskmaster, right? Like, this is just a different name for Taskmaster, and you're trying to trick us?
It's essentially Taskmaster. It
is.
I think all but 2 of the cast members have been on Taskmaster, and the other 2 presumably will be at some point. It is a bunch of comedians put into a room. It's shot over 6 hours, and they have 6 hours to stay in this room and not laugh or smile while they all try to make each other laugh and smile. It sounds, again, like the premise sounds like, is this going to be good or not? But there's something so wonderful about seeing people trying not to laugh at each other, and especially these people who, in a place like the UK, you work really closely with other comics. They all know each other very well. They kind of know each other's triggers. It was great. I really enjoyed it. Your mileage may vary, like if you don't go in already being semi in love with most of the cast, it's, might not be as delightful for you as it was for me. There is, and this is for Johnny, I'll put the official Jimmy Carr warning on it. It is hosted by Jimmy Carr.
Oh, fuck. I am never going to watch that, Vanessa.
The clips that I saw on TikTok, none of them feature Jimmy Carr.
He's in
There's
it very
actually been
little.
there's been one clip that's been served to me over and over again from different people, and I don't know who any of the people are, but there's one guy who looks like Jesus.
Yes, Joe
who
Wilkinson.
The curtains open and he's standing behind a podium and he's talking. I can't remember what he's talking about, but eventually something explodes in the podium and he's covered in pink paint or something.
Yep.
And the caption on this video was one of the funniest moments of television you've ever seen. And I was watching it and I was like, What's the joke?
Well, he sort of does kind of anti-humor stuff, but I think the joke kind of comes from seeing the people watching him, like Richard Ayoade, biting his finger, literally biting on his hand.
He seems like such a good sport for all this stuff. He really seems like he's kind of setting the tone for everything else that's going on.
Yeah. So, I recommend that. Watch Adolescence and then watch that as a little palate
A little
cleanser.
palate cleanser, yeah. A little port at the end of your meal.
Yeah, and those are my two big things. I'll just give a little shout out to, if you're missing The Traitors, there's a new Netflix game show called $1 Million Secret. It's a bunch of people in a hotel. One of them has a briefcase full of $1 million worth of cash, and the other people have to figure out which one of them has it.
Oh, I think I saw an ad for that.
Yeah, if you like Traitors or if you liked The Mole, it's very similar to The Mole. Johnny is giving a thumbs down.
I like the Traitors. I watched the third season recently.
Frowning.
It's a fun show.
Yeah. Yeah, if you're looking for something like that, just kind of like a have-on show,
Yeah.
something that you don't have to think about, it's good, and it is hosted by Peter Serafinowicz from The Tick and
No,
other
he's
things.
from Look Around You, the best TV show ever made.
From Look Around You. the
You
best
love that
TV
show, John.
I
ever
do.
made.
Never heard of it.
We'll have to watch it sometime for a bonus, but I just
Yeah,
did my
sounds
bonus.
Matt,
Yeah.
you'll fucking hate it.
Probably. Does the
You'll
dialogue
fucking
sound
hate
like
it.
it was written by Twitter?
No.
No.
Who's next?
One of the best voices in the business, Peter Serafinowicz. Johnny, you're next.
Yay! Let's talk about Look Around. No, I didn't watch Look Around You. I was recording footage of True Crime New York, which is the thing that I'm doing after I finish Saints Row. If you're wondering why I'm playing this before the last video is finished, it's because I was editing podcast stuff. But then tragedy struck when my original Xbox that I was playing it on, died because they're poorly made. They cheaped out on a few different caps, like resistor I don't know. I'm not even going to pretend to know what they are. These bits that hold an alkaline material that spills out all over your motherboard. They're broken. Anyway, so that's 4 dead Xboxes now, that original Xboxes. I have a pile. I did pick up.
Yeah, you showed a stack of them, and I was like, oh my god.
I was like, you know what? There's one for sale real cheap on Facebook for $20. I'll go pick that up. Guess what? It was dead. Of course it was. Don't buy.
Did you get suckered?
Well, I mean, this is the third
It was
time.
$20.
It was $20.
Or was it 20 loonies, which is $100?
20 loonies.
$200.
No, remember, loonies are less than American dollars, but still, I can use it for parts. So I got a Torx screwdriver because they have Torx security screws. I'm just waiting to have free time so that I can mess around with this Xbox. I think I might do it tomorrow. And I'm going to try and take one of the working disk drives from the one that won't power on anymore and then put it into one of the ones with a bad disk drive. So I have 5 of them now. 4 out of 5 have bad disk drives. Only one won't power up. So I'm going to put that one working disk drive into a one that will power up. Hopefully it will work. It's kind of a complex situation. However,
that sounds hard.
I was looking at it. I might have to learn how to solder because you can get these basically you can fix all of them pretty easily. Yeah, I just have to learn how to replace the lens on the DVD drives, and I have to learn how to solder to put the caps on those visitors.
Should find an adult education course.
Oh yeah, I bet they have those for soldering. I mean, I also have a job where there is a soldering table at my work. I might ask. Because I don't have
practice on company time.
Well, no, but I might ask one of the engineers, like, give them a case of beer and ask them to show me how to solder.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, because we have to do a lot of electronics repairs at my work. So that's my life. What about Matt's life?
What about Jim's
I think
life?
I'm the last one to go. Vanessa, did you want to talk about the Carl Jobst thing?
Yeah. Some hot
I don't like that
gaming
guy.
news.
Yeah. There's some hot gaming news. So recently, which is a real break from the norm of Billy Mitchell headlines, but there's a Billy Mitchell headline, Billy Mitchell being the recently disgraced arcade master, classic games master. There was a rare Billy Mitchell W headline where it said that he won a defamation lawsuit against YouTuber Carl Jobst. And Carl Jobst I feel like has gained a lot of followers in the last year and a half by being the target of this lawsuit and by putting out a lot of videos against Billy Mitchell. And he lost because in one of Carl Jobst's videos, and I've watched this video, there's another YouTuber that tried to out Billy Mitchell as being a cheater, and Billy Mitchell sued this YouTuber, and that YouTuber, I'm not saying because I don't want to get sued, not because of the lawsuit, but he eventually ended his own life. And Carl Jobst in his video said, yeah, he did it because Billy Mitchell sued him. And he did not take down the video after the lawsuit. He did not put out another statement or re-edit, kept it up, and lost his defamation lawsuit. And it was like $200,000.
Yeah, something like that.
It's a lot of money.
I bet YouTube paid him millions for that video. So,
I mean, I'm sure he's not hurting, but for a mid-level YouTuber whose thing that he publishes the most is speedrun controversies, it probably did hit him pretty hard. So
it is interesting that this suit is not about any of Billy Mitchell's, claims.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Allegations
none of the
against
cheating
him.
allegations. Yeah, none of the cheating allegations, none of the conspiracy stuff. It was just straight up it felt like a very opportunistic suit. But
Does it?
That was
if somebody claimed I drove somebody to suicide, I would sue them too.
I watched an interesting video about the completionist stuff that Carl Jobst did, basically by a lawyer being like, hey, you're not Carl Jobst, not a lawyer, doesn't research, and a lot of things he said were fraud were not fraud about the completionist stuff.
That's a very important thing to note is Carl Jobst who's the guy that everybody looks forward to his videos? Who outed
H-Bomber guy?
Yes, he's not an H-Bomber. H-Bomber guy has a staff and spends months researching and interviewing and asking for comment and watching old videos. Carl Jobst does not do that. He will read some headlines and talk to people in Discord,
the Joe Rogan
and
method.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah,
It's a little bit more sophisticated than Joe Rogan, but not by much.
Basically,
like a hair.
Billy Mitchell, piece of shit. He sucks.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
fine
an
with
easy
saying
target.
that.
That's low hanging fruit is Billy Mitchell's cheating, his arcade controversies.
Yeah,
but to tie him to the death of another human being, a little beyond the pale, I think.
Yeah, and just him saying there's this whole thing of him saying that the completionist's dad was obviously stealing from these golf charity things because the numbers didn't add up, and he had zero proof. And I'm like, how can you make these statements? Like, I am very surprised that the completionist guy did not sue the fuck out of him. Like,
I watched another video about the completionist, and like, I guess Carl Jobst and this other YouTuber, I don't remember his name, did like a co-investigation on it where they were both like working at it and did like simultaneous videos. This other guy, the quality of his videos was trash. A real, like, looked like a real basement dweller with like an axe to grind kind of guy.
Yeah, not that taking millions of dollars in charity is good and not spending it is like, good.
This guy just didn't seem credible. Like, if you're gonna out a charity stealer, like, the credibility is your responsibility, and these people didn't seem like they cared for their own credibility.
Again, so basically what the completionist did was raised a bunch of money for charity, said that they were spending it on care and were just keeping it in a bank account, which a lot of charities do, but they don't pretend that they're doing other things with it. Like, that's wrong. He shouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
I don't care if he's hot. That is not the point.
I don't think he did anything like malicious or evil, but he didn't live up to his responsibility as like
he shouldn't have said that it was doing things it wasn't doing. That's a lie. That's
but it's not like the allegations, was like out spending the money on like a Ferrari or something. He just had it in an account somewhere.
But the way that those two went after his family and stuff was fucked up.
Yeah, it was really bad. Yeah, it was pretty gross. All right, so we did that. My actual level up is I went and attempted to watch the new Jason Statham movie and disliked it so much that I walked out of it. I was so excited to see this movie. I was out of town last week. I went to Seattle for work and got back to Nebraska at like 7 p.m. and got tickets for a 9:30 show. Got my fiance and we went to a 9:40 movie, and this movie was so bad, like, probably 60% of what I think is 60% of the way through. I haven't seen the whole thing. I turned to her and said, do you want to finish this movie? And she's like, no. And I was like, me either. And we got up and walked out of the movie theater. It was awful.
Yeah, it's sad.
Really bad movie. Yeah. Just like The Beekeeper, huh? No, The Beekeeper is great.
Oh, boy.
Beekeeper is a good movie. This is not good. The Beekeeper features a lot of tech bros being murdered, which I think gives it like maybe a B- by default. B-, by the way. B.
No!
Oh yeah.
Everyone, give Jim a hand.
That.
Yeah, but this movie, which I think is called like A Working Man, is fucking awful. It's stupid. It doesn't even have good action. Jason Statham is spitting out lines that are like 3 words per sentence. They're fucking terrible. There's no establishing shots in the movie. It just goes from scene to scene with no explanation. Fucking terrible. Don't watch it.
Swear to God, you're describing The Beekeeper. Like, I know that you disagree, but I swear to God.
This movie's fucking terrible. But also, by the way, same director, but way worse movie. Terrible. I also got a very spontaneous tattoo last week. Did that. That was cool.
When did you ever talk about Banishers? Did I miss your Banishers talk?
I did last episode.
Oh, yeah, I wasn't there. That's why. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll give it a shot.
Are you gonna tell the listeners what your tattoo is of?
Yeah, I got a tattoo. So when I landed after coming home from the work trip, Amanda was already at the tattoo shop because she's doing sessions to finish her sleeve. She's getting a lot of like really solid black on her arms, which takes a long time. So when I landed, she's like, I'm still at the tattoo shop.
What is she covering up?
She's not. So she had like part of the sleeve done on the top of her forearm and the top of her upper arm. And she was like, I kind of want to do like a really poppy color black. So she's getting a lot of solid black. She's not covering up anything. Just it's kind of like a choice.
Yeah, she had a cool maze there, but it wasn't finished.
So she was already there, so she's like, you should come here. And she's like, there's someone who has availability to do a tattoo. If you get here in the next like 20 minutes, and then they'll do it. So I was in the car and I was messaging Matt and Vanessa, and I was like, give me ideas for tattoos. I got to get there. Your guys' suggestions were mostly pretty terrible. Nothing I would ever get tattooed on me. But, I was sitting in the parking lot about to go in, and I was like, Kermit riding a bike. I love seeing Kermit riding a bike. And so I walked in, and I was like, do you guys have walk-in availability? And they're like, yeah, what do you want? And I was like, I really want, like, do you know Kermit the Frog? And they're like, yeah. I was like, Kermit riding a bike. And they're like, how big do you want it? Like, I thought they were maybe I was gonna stretch it across my torso or something. But I was like, I just pulled up a Google search thing, and I was like, just Kermit on a bicycle. That's all I want, and I want it in black. And I want it on my arm. I think like right here. They're like, okay. The guy came out, and he's like, I can do that. And he drew this like really perfect thing, and he's like, is this what you want? And I was like, yeah. I was like, but can you also put the words movie magic on it? And he's like, movie magic. And I was like, yes. And so he did it. He's like, what font do you want? And I was like, I don't care. And so he's like, okay. And so he drew like a script thing. I liked it. He tattooed it. He asked me for the story around it. I mentioned the show. I mentioned liking watching the Muppets with my daughter. But he's like, what really sets us off is the movie magic. He's like, you came in here for a movie magic tattoo. And I was like, yeah, I sure did.
Well, I think it's great because Kermit riding a bicycle is one of the major things that I associate with you, Jim. And so it really represents you.
Yeah, it's a good tattoo. I think it looks good. Yeah, I think. Oh, I watched a horror movie with I think one of the weirdest looking people in the world, Matt Smith, the other night. There's a folk horror movie on Shudder called Starve Acre. That is an excellent folk horror movie. Has all the good folk horror stuff in it. Has like a farm. It has some people getting sacrificed. It has some animals. It has some people with questionable morals in like a rural setting. It's good stuff. And it also has Matt Smith's weird, craggy face. When I first saw him, I was like, did he get stung by a bee? He looks like a guy that got stung by a bee and has really swollen face.
Wow. Way to shame Matt Smith for the way he looks.
Have you seen his face?
Yeah.
Yes.
He's a pretty famous actor. Everybody's seen his face.
He also has he has long hair in this movie that's kind of draped over his face. I feel like it like frames his face in a way that makes it look way bigger.
He's the floppy-haired doctor, right? The third one of the new series?
Oh, yeah.
He was post-Tenet.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, overall, good movie. It has him and the lady that plays Galadriel in the new Lord of the Rings show, I think. And she's good, so that was cool. But yeah, that's how I leveled up.
All right, well, we have a Patreon. Whoa, come check us out at Square Roots Podcast. Excuse me, it's patreon.com/Square Roots Podcast, where we have two sweet, hot, cool tiers. The first tier at $3 a month allows you access to all of our cool bonus content. We just released a brand new episode about the game Elite Beat Agents. And for the month of April, we will be releasing an episode about ? Jim has not decided yet. We have a ton of those. So if you like this, you can find like maybe 100 more episodes that are sneakily behind a paywall.
I feel like sometime we should count the bonus episodes on our Patreon. There's probably a ton of them.
Mm-hmm.
That is a good idea.
We also have a second tier at $5 a month. You can vote on upcoming games. Grandia 2 was not a vote, but after Grandia 2, we will be having a vote. And this is not going to be a ton of episodes. In fact, we should probably start discussing that soon. Anyway, one thing that we like to offer at the end of each episode is to read a list of Patreon names, not all of them, but a chunk of them at a time, much like the way we treat our games. And I'll start us off by thanking Seth G. Mongo is appalled. Sergeant Spaghetti, Gage Lacarite, John Scala, Lexavarial, Brian Pitt, Andy M., Tracy, the Borg Queen, and Garrett of Thivia, the Filcher.
Oh.
I'd like to thank Eric Garby, Tyler, RP Siege, Hexagon, Nofford, Joshua W. Broxson, Jay Bird, Huxley Iguana, Daniel Wood, and Wash in the Wind.
I'd like to thank Notice Me, Matt Senpai.
He's
Himbo
literally out of the
Baggins.
room.
I know, I can't believe he was out of the room for that. Himbo Baggins, Ryan Schmidt, Robert T., Angel, Ari Corpivara, Jesse's Mom's Pizza, Isaac Wright, Matt Jorgensen, and Arthur A.
And I'd like to thank Julie, my karaoke partner, David Arnold, Sonic's Chronic, Tonic Clonic, Justin Ham, Cerulean, My Battery is Low, Jason Timms, Loafing Around, Sol Wagner, and Dr. Fine, Say Everyone's Name.
All right, that's it for this episode of Square Roots. If you'd like to send us an email to have read on the air, you can email us at squarerootspodcast@gmail.com. Come join our Facebook group, the Square Roots Podcast Group, for smart, cool, very attractive people. Find us on Blue Sky at squarerootspod.bsky.social. Email us at squarerootspodcast@gmail.com for our Discord link to join our super hot Discord.
I streamed myself playing Grandia II, not with any commentary. If you wanted to, you could click in that channel and watch Grandia II.
I feel like
this
we're
morning.
almost to the point with the YouTube streams where we could probably just stream directly to the Discord and get the same viewership.
That's what I did. I just streamed directly to Discord. Please rate, review, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Google, Spotify, Ghana, or wherever you listen to podcasts. And thanks to Stephen Morris. He did our awesome theme. You can find Stephen on YouTube. Links in the show notes.
All right, that's it for this episode of Square Roots. I'm Jim Banks.
I'm Matthew Van Zant.
I'm Johnny Brandon.
I'm Vanessa.
Goodbye.
Bye.